Okay, perfect. Click the button as usual. Let's dive in. So we're going to talk about some paperwork because everybody loves paperwork. It's graduation day. Woo! Woo! I said, woo! Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Sam. Gosh, what are you doing? See, Sam's excited. Okay, so let's get get into paperwork. Okay, um, so I'm gonna go over everything in layman's terms. Is that okay with you guys? You care if I go over it all in legal jargon? I figured. Okay. So it's gonna be a DocuSign that gets sent to your email. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that started. But let's talk about paperwork. So first paragraph. First paragraph basically says, okay, that you cannot advertise in a public place. Okay, this means that you cannot get a billboard with your face on it. I'm sorry, Sam. I know you already had it in the works, but it is unfortunate you cannot get a billboard with your face on it. It says Cutco Sam is open for business. You cannot sell on like eBay or Amazon. You can't get a store that says that you sell Cutco. I know. I'm so sorry. Can't get a brick and mortar store. How dare I? I'm a monster. But like I said, can't sell on eBay or Amazon. You would imagine how hard your guys' jobs would be if you had to sell on eBay and Amazon, along with all the other 100,000 reps in the US and Canada. Okay, so these are just to protect you guys. You can sell pretty much the way that we've taught you: virtual demonstrations, in person, over the phone, things like that, doing demonstrations. What the company just wants to get away from is that you're not advertising that you have physical products that you're selling to people. Okay, that's really what they want to get away from. Ooh. Um, second and third paragraphs go into pay. Okay, so it basically talks about the commission side or the incentive that I talked about. Okay, so this one basically is 10% all the way up to 30%, and then there's bonuses that can take you to 50%. This never resets, never restarts, and you get grandfathered in. So this is something I forgot to mention yesterday or the day before, is that basically you guys are reps for life, okay? So let's say, Sam, you, I don't know, only work here for a year, okay? And then you leave, but you come back and you want to start selling again, you would actually start exactly where you left off. Okay, so it literally never restarts. I have somebody on my team, Jennifer, started the job in 2001. Okay, she's at $137,000 in career sales, and she got to start exactly where she left off when she was a college student in 2001. Okay, so literally never resets, never restarts, and you guys are reps for life. Congratulations. Okay, now on to the next paragraph on pay. Talks about, I think in the paperwork it calls it the minimum payment agreement, something like that. Okay, but it's the base pay. All right, so the base pay is $25 per appointment, as we talked about. Okay. And the most important thing you need to know about base pay is that it's a renewable agreement between you and your manager. All right, base pay is a renewable agreement between you and your manager, which means we renew it on a week-to-week basis, making sure you continue to get base pay. Very simple. The easiest way to explain this is, let's say, Jelena, I don't think you're going to do this, but let's say Jelena just disappears off the face of the planet for like a month, okay? Doesn't talk to Tommy, doesn't say anything at all. I know, wild, okay? Just disappears, okay? And then she comes back and she's like, hey, Tommy, by the way, while I was gone, I did 30 appointments, okay? Do you think Tommy would feel comfortable paying for those 30 appointments? No, of course not. He'd be like, are you okay? Did you get kidnapped? Like, are you all right? Where'd you go? Okay. He'd probably be more concerned on that front than anything. Okay, so that's super fair, and all it is, you can always get put back onto base pay. All right, you can always get put back on base pay, but obviously, if you're not talking to us, you're not communicating with us, we have no idea what's going on, we don't really feel comfortable renewing base pay at that time. Is that fair? Cool, perfect. So like I said, very simple process. Next paragraphs are some of my favorites. They're fantastic. It talks about paragraph 4, says, be honest and ethical about the product. Did any of you ever watch SpongeBob growing up? Okay. Do you remember that episode? Thank you for those of you who did. Okay. Do you remember that episode where they're selling chocolate and they're like, to make your hair grow back, to make it live forever. Awesome. All that stuff. Cool. Don't do that. Okay. Be honest and ethical about the product. You don't need to lie. You don't need to fabricate anything. Cutco's already amazing. You don't need to tell people it makes their hair grow back or it makes them live forever. Just the product lasts forever. Okay. So be honest about what you're talking about. The next paragraph is also one of my favorites. It says, do not commit credit card fraud, identity theft, or anything of the same. Okay. Once again, I don't think any of you are doing the long game of trying to commit credit card fraud through doing demonstrations, because that's wild. Okay. But I do have to say it. All right. We do handle people's credit card infos. My opinion has always been, as long as you don't make it weird, it's not weird. But as soon as you make it weird, now it's really weird. Okay. Nana? I really can't figure out how to say your name. I don't know why my brain's dumb. Um,
Honestly, your actual name is easier, Nyasha.
I,
Like it's a million times easier.
it's
You
it's
think so? Because really, people cannot pronounce it. You did. You did it.
well,
You did it good
they're
though.
wild.
You out here. I see you.
I'm gonna keep saying your nickname because you asked to, but I'm just letting you know that I'm struggling. Okay, anyway, so now imagine that that I'm writing up your order, okay? And you're like, okay, cool, here's my credit card info, and I'm like, are you sure you want to give that to me? I could just give you my login instead if you would like. I don't. Okay. See, and she's already like, I don't. This is weird. Now, why shouldn't I be giving you my credit card info? Okay. So now it makes it weird because you made it weird. Don't make it weird. Okay. Be calm. People have literally sent me pictures of their credit cards before, and they're just like, delete it when you're done. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. And it's because I'm not gonna do anything with it, so I don't really freak out. Okay. So big one there. Next one goes into taxes. Okay, so we are 1099s, not W2s, when it comes to taxes, which I will explain in more depth. Basically, all this means though is that before we like pay taxes, we get to calculate and subtract business expenses. Okay, which means we usually end up paying a little bit less in taxes. Saves us some money here, and I'll explain this all in full detail in just a bit. Okay. And then the last thing just says, do you understand everything that I've talked about so far? Do you guys understand everything that I've talked about so far? Pretty clear? Awesome. Perfect. That's it. So we just sent you guys your paperwork, okay? It got sent through an email. It's going to be a DocuSign. When you're filling this out, do a couple of things. Double check that all your information is correct, because I have had people put things in incorrect. Okay, so double check your name, address, all that stuff is incorrect. Then go through and you're gonna put your social in there. When you're putting your social in here, you have to add the dashes. If you don't add the dashes, it'll say it's incorrect. Cool? Perfect. So all of you got sent that. Go ahead and start working on it. Okay, if you have any questions, let us know. Once again, biggest thing, add the dashes, double check your information, spelling of everything, make sure that's correct.
Jelena, Abby, just refresh real quick. I just sent it, so it might take a minute to go through.
Okay, tell me how to say your nickname one more time while I'm waiting.
Nah.
I got this.
Yeah, not like Nana, like your grandmama.
Nah,
Well, that's what we were saying.
nah.
Because it's originally spelled Nini and it's supposed to be 99, but like people really could not get with it, so it's Nana.
Okay. Nana, I could do that. I think it's because all of yesterday we were calling you Nana, and I was like, this sounds wrong.
It feel wrong too, yeah.
And I would pause, and I'd be like, Nana, and you didn't look at me, so I was like, I still think I'm saying this wrong. So.
I'm still more comfortable with your actual name.
You can call me by my actual name. You're the only one that pronounces it right, so like, by all means.
It's Nyasha.
That's so easy. I don't know what people are having issues with.
Nah,
It's the extra I. They don't know how to pronounce it. It's Nyasha.
Don't pronounce it.
Nyasha. And I'm like, no, why are you putting E's in my name? It's not. It's right there. Like, sound it out.
I like that all of this is in the recording.
it's fine. We're filling out paperwork.
Yeah, exactly. Filling in space. Anyway. No, I just like that you must have been filling this out while I like said you were like, boop, boop, I'm done.
Look, as you said it, the email popped up. I was like, oh, okay, right now. And I was like, oh, it's only like 3 questions. It's just my social. And then I did it. And I was like, dashes. Let me go back. I did it. It's finished.
You were like, I don't read terms and agreements. It's all good. Okay, Sam, let me know if you're having any issues. He's like, I'm just double checking everything, making sure what you said is what you said. And I'm like, it is. I feel like I could have paused this. Woo! Taxes! That's gonna be such a weird like transition. Anyway, so let's go ahead, dive into taxes, because we start with all the fun stuff in the morning. Paperwork, taxes, it's the best. So let's get into that. Come on, computer. There we go. Perfect. So here we are. I'm going to give you a heads up. I'm a slow typer. That's it. Just need to let you guys know that. So let's go with Abby. My gosh. Okay, so Abby, let's say tax-wise, you work at Baskin-Robbins. Congratulations. It's because ice cream. Okay, so you work at Baskin-Robbins. That means you are a W-2. Okay, you are an employee of the company. Okay, you are an employee of the company. Basically what this means then is that taxes automatically get taken out of your paychecks, okay? And then they go toward your taxes. And then at the end of the year, people get really excited because they're like, ooh, I'm getting a tax return. I'm getting extra money, free money, okay? And it's not extra or free. It's just that you paid too much in taxes. And the government here's most of it back, okay? So we operate a little bit differently, but I just want to make sure you understand how both of them works and in comparison, since most jobs are W-2s that you guys have probably worked before, okay? So let's say, Abby, you make $5,000 working at Baskin-Robbins. You would get to keep $4,000. Now, this is not exact math for anybody that's like, I know taxes, and that's not how it works. This is just an example, okay? So you would get to keep $4,000, and about $1,000 is going to go towards taxes. Okay, so off the $4,000, you would utilize that for your expenses, cell phone bill, supplies, anything like that that you need to live. Okay, now here, Cutco Vector. Okay, you are a 1099. This means you are an independent contractor. Okay, independent contractor. Myself, Tommy, Evan, we are all 1099s. Okay, as managers, we are all 1099s. So just giving you that heads up, we are the same tax as you guys. Okay, what this means is that the IRS is going to treat us like a small business when it comes to taxes. Okay, so they're going to treat us like a small business when it comes to taxes, which means we get to subtract business expenses before they take out taxes. So if you make $5,000 working here, you would get to keep $5,000. Now, does this mean that Abby doesn't pay taxes? No, you will never escape taxes. Isn't that fun? Okay, so you will always pay taxes. But it just means that she doesn't pay anything to taxes immediately. Okay. And it's because she gets to subtract business expenses or deductibles or write-offs, however you would want to call them. Okay, so write-offs, deductions, okay, like I said, they will usually be considered business expenses. Right? And it's because they treat us as if we are a small business tax-wise. That's how they treat us. Okay? So, this is a couple different things. Okay? This can be your cell phone. Okay? Because you guys need your cell phone. Okay? You need your cell phone to do this job. I feel like that's pretty obvious, right? You need your cell phone to make phone calls, do the job, and so that's why it would be tax deductible, okay? Now, does this mean that you get to write off 100% of your cell phone? No. Could you? Yes. Should you? Probably not, okay? What I would recommend is 50% because it's pretty easy to make an argument that you're using your phone 50% for work. Okay, stop it. You're making noise. Okay, so 50% for work. All right. As you get higher up in the job, you can start to change the percentage, but at your current position right now, I would recommend 50%. Okay, I use it half for work, half for personal. Cool. Another big one, okay, is you guys are all looking at me right now on a computer or tablet. Okay. So that is also tax deductible because it'd be really hard to do this job without a computer or a tablet, okay? And so you need it for work. So you can write that off as well, okay? So if for some reason, I don't know, Sam, you just throw your computer down the stairs, I don't know why you would do that, Sam, gosh. But if you did, okay, you could go to the store, get a brand new computer, and write it off, okay? Now, just because Sam gets write-offs and tax deductibles for this stuff, does this mean that he should intentionally break things so he can spend more money? No, of course not, okay? Because he is still spending money. Sam, I don't think you'll do that, but It's just a fun example. Okay. But this does not mean that you guys should go out and just unnecessarily spend money, because you are still spending money. All right. This is just to make it easier for your taxes. Another one that's kind of vague, but it covers a lot of stuff, is supplies. This could be anything as big as a standing desk or another monitor or even a nice chair, to something as small as pens and notebooks. Okay? Because those are all for your business, you can make an argument for. Okay? It could be a ring light, a microphone. It could be, a wellness mat if you're going to be standing with a standing desk. Okay? Like I said, it could be literally anything that you are using for your business. Right? So those are supplies. Like I said, vague, but anything that goes towards business. Another one is conferences and travel. Okay? Conferences and travel. All right. This could be when we go to events. So as I said, we have SC2 coming up that you guys can get invited to. And so let's say you decided that you wanted to drive there. Okay. Mileage is something that we get money back for. I believe at the moment is 56 cents back per mile driven. Okay. So 56 cents back per mile driven. This changes each year as well, okay, so it will fluctuate, but it is 56 cents back per mile driven, okay? This is easier to calculate than gas, and it's just because gas is hard to say, oh, I use this much to get here, and I use this much to get here, okay? So this one's for business, and this one's for personal. It's way easier to track the mileage, and I think you get a little bit more back on the mileage than you do gas, okay? So let's say you decide to drive to the conference. It's going to be in Long Beach, okay? So you driving there and back, all of that mileage would be tax deductible, okay? Even if you carpooled with us and you got like snacks along the way, that whole entire trip is a business trip, okay? So all of those things would also be tax deductible. Bless you. Okay, this also applies if you are traveling like to do appointments. Okay, like one of my reps, Marissa Adams, she had a lot of family that lived in Arizona, and every single weekend she would go to Arizona. And so she was like, after training, she was like, hey, I'm just already driving there right after training. She was like, can I just do all of my appointments in person with them? And I was like, yeah, for sure. Okay, and then that trip became tax deductible because her purpose now is going to do appointments. Okay, so her driving there and her driving back. Let's say you have to even just drive to your grandma's house because she doesn't know how to use a computer. Okay, the mileage there and back is tax deductible. Okay, this is why I've had some reps who will do like appointments on vacation because they can write some of it off. Heads up, okay? Some of it off, all right? If your full intention is not that this is a business trip, okay, you can't write the whole entire trip off. Just a heads up, okay? So conferences and travel. Another one is business meals. This one fluctuates, okay? It comes and goes. Really the only time it left was 2020 and 2021 for obvious reasons, okay? But it is back now where you guys can write off business meals. Like I said, this would be on a business trip. This would also be, I don't know, let's say Sam and Abby meet up and they want to talk about how excited they are about their Fast Start contest. Hey, and Sam is such a gentleman that he pays for Abby's meal, okay? He's like, hey, thanks for meeting up and talking about why you're doing so well. Maybe that's what it is, okay? So he pays for her meal. This is now tax deductible, okay? Because they were talking about business and he paid for it, okay? This doesn't just apply that Abby just wants to go to Wendy's for some chicken nuggets. And she was like, why not? Tax deductible. Like, no, that's not how it works. It does have to be somewhat related to business, all right? And then the only one that I do want to make clear that is not tax deductible is clothes. Okay? So the only thing that is not is clothes. The reason is because we do not have a dress code. Okay? Because you guys could really do your appointments however you want. You could do them in a tank top or a hoodie or shirtless. Now, should you? Absolutely not. But could you? Yes. Okay? And it's because you can do your appointments however you want because there is no dress code. We have suggestions, strong suggestions that you should look nice for your appointments. Okay? But you technically don't have to. And that's why clothes is not tax deductible. Now, if you do get on like a fair and show team or an events team or anything like that, they'll talk about like Cutco polos and how those can be write-offs. But until then, business meals, and all the other ones I've talked about are the only things that are tax deductible for you guys. Okay. Tommy, anything that I'm missing? Looks good. Pretty full list. Perfect. So let's get into the benefits. Sorry if you hear my dog just skittering around. Okay. So let's get into the benefits. So back to Abby. Okay. Abby makes her $5,000 working here. And then calculating her write-offs. Okay, looking at everything, she looks at her expenses, and that comes out to, I don't know, $3,000. Let's do $2,000. I don't know why I said 3. Okay, $2,000. Okay, she buys a new computer. I don't know her life. So that means her taxable income is now only $3,000. Okay, and it's because we subtracted the $2,000 from the $5,000 and leaves her with only $3,000 of taxable income. All right, so this is why we say you end up paying a little bit less in taxes, because they end up just taxing you on a less amount. This also means, though, that we very rarely get a tax return. Okay, and the reason is because we pay exactly what we owe, nothing more, nothing less. Right? Which I do like, because, well, I pay exactly what I owe. Nothing more, nothing less. But there are a couple other benefits to this, okay, that I'll get into with you guys. And I'll go over some tips as well. Okay? One tip that I have for you guys, just by a show of hands, who here is a student? Couple of you going to school, eventually going to school. Okay, awesome. If you're currently a student, this applies for you right now. If you are going to school, this will apply for you. Okay. So as students, you guys also get what is called a 1098. Okay, a 1098. And this allows you to write off expenses for school that you've actually paid for. This is not loan money, okay, or somebody else's money. This is things that you've actually paid for. It can be textbooks, parking passes, literally anything that has to do with school. Your computer, and you could write it off for that way, either way, okay? And these were the few years that I did actually get a tax return. Was because I was in school and because my tax person told me. So I actually didn't find this out until about the end of my sophomore year. Isn't that nice? So I'm telling you guys now, since you're younger, okay, and when you go to college, make sure you get your 1098. This is usually not mailed to you anymore, just like we do ours electronically. Most schools do theirs electronically now as well. You'll find this in your like student portal, okay, and it'll tell you your 1098 is ready. Make sure you utilize that when you go see your tax person. So that one's just a free tip for the student. Okay, next one. I would say save 10% of your paychecks. Okay, save 10% of your paychecks, because this is a good habit to get into. Because if I'm being honest with you guys, you usually don't need the full 10% to pay taxes. Even my accountant had told me, he was like, 10%. He's like, it's kind of aggressive. He's like, you only need like 4, maybe 6, okay, to pay your taxes. Because reminder, you do have to pay taxes at the end of the year. Remember, you'll never escape taxes. Isn't that fun? Okay, so save 10% of your paycheck so that you can pay these at the end of the year. You can do this in one of 2 ways. You can do this yourself, just put it away in your savings. Or number 2, you can set up a tax withholding with the company. A tax withholding basically is that they see your paycheck, tax it 10%, tax it 10%, and put it off to the side. Okay, this is still your money. You can do whatever you want with it, and you can request it out, and it'll be on your following commission statement. Okay, but what I used to do, because I was definitely one of those college students where if I put money in savings, it did not stay in savings. So having something that automatically just put it to the side, and if I didn't see it, I didn't think about it. So then at the end of the year, I would just take all that money out, and then I would pay my taxes. But also what this did is that I started to create my own tax returns, okay? Because like I said, I didn't usually need the full 10%. So I would have money left over as emergency fund money. So like when my computer broke twice, when my wife and I wanted to start the process to have a baby, when I got 4 flat tires, things like that. Okay, I was able to pay for these things because I had just created a good savings habit for myself. All right, even my wife that works here, like she doesn't really work a lot or very often, but she has like $2,500 in her withholdings, her savings with us. Okay, so get into a good habit of that. Pay yourself first. Another one is track expenses. Okay, track expenses. There's a couple different apps that you can use, and if you do use them, they are tax deductible because they cost money. Okay, I did have somebody tell me that there was a free version for all of this, but I still have to look it up because I haven't been able to find it. Okay, but you can track expenses through apps like Expensify or like Mile IQ. You can even just use an Excel sheet, okay, and track your big expenses, because that's what I would recommend, is just use an Excel sheet and track your big expenses. If you need templates, please let us know. We have different budget templates that you guys can use to help you keep track of everything. Okay, because we've been doing this for a long time. All right. I don't think anybody needs an accountant at this stage right now, but I do think you should track your expenses. Okay. It's also a good habit to get into because now you know where your money is going. Okay. And it's not surprising of like, oh, this only goes here or this goes here. All right. So track your expenses. And then the last thing is get a tax person. And like I said, none of you need an accountant, but you do need somebody to file your taxes once a year. And the reason is because they know more than you. Okay? So that means they will save you a ridiculous amount of money. Could you file your own taxes? 100%. Are you going to know as much? Probably not. Are you going to save yourself as much? Also probably not. Okay? So the way I think about it is, yes, I pay $150 for somebody to file my taxes once a year, and then they save me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Okay? So all I'm doing is paying them from the money that they saved me. Okay? Because I don't know about you guys, but I would love to pay as little in taxes as I can. Okay? So that's why get a tax person. They know more. All the information that I've given you guys is from tax people. Like I just went and they're like, did you know? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Why would I know that? That's why I pay you. Okay? So get a tax person. Okay? They will help you out so much, and you're paying for their experience and their knowledge. Cool. Take a picture of this. Any questions, comments, concerns, snide remarks, emotional uppers? Nope. Okay. Looks like you guys are all set. Excuse me. So that's taxes. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. I'm not going to lie and say that we know everything. Okay. But we will sometimes be able to just point you in the right direction when it comes to these things. Cool. Perfect. Tommy, we can go and kick off the phone jam.
Bada bing, bada boom. Top of the morning, top of the morning. All right. Hey. Write something in your list for me. All bold, all caps, underline, circle, highlight it, go crazy. 4 words. Success is a choice. Success is a choice. Success is a choice in anything and everything that you do. You choose on a day-to-day basis, on a moment-to-moment basis, how much effort you put into anything you set your mind to, right? And when you look at people like some of the biggest athletes in the world, or some of the best, performers or entertainers in the world, right? Like Steph Curry, for example. I brought him up before, but it's hard to argue with how good he's been as of late, right? And when Steph Curry steps on the court, do you think that's the first time he shot the basketball that week? Heck no, right? Like he shot it thousands upon thousands of times to make sure that he's prepared for those moments in the big games, right? He chooses to be successful. He chooses to put in that extra time and effort to be as good as he is, right? So how do we apply that here? Well, one of the reasons I love this position is because you are in direct control of your success, right? Has anybody here worked a position before? Maybe worked like another job, or maybe you worked on a school project where you worked harder than the people that you were working with. Anybody know what I'm talking about? But you still got paid the same as them, or got the same grade as them. Does anybody like that, by the way? Hell no, right? I was always under the impression, like, hey, if I'm putting in more effort, doesn't it make sense for me to get paid more, right? Rather than the guy sleeping in the back. And so what I love about this position is, like, Nyasha, if you want to go out and make more phone calls and book more appointments than Abby, guess what's going to happen? You're likely going to sell a heck of a lot more than Abby will, right? And by the way, Abby, like, if you're competitive, take her down, right? Don't let that happen. But that being said, you're in direct control of how many calls you make, how many demos you book, and whether or not you hit your goals or not, right? So that being said, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to make more phone calls, to book more appointments, to help you hit your initial targets so you can continue to build your foundation for what your future is going to be looking like here, all right? So that being said, everybody take out your cell phone. take out your cell phone, open up the Vector Impact app. Click the phoning tab. Let's start phoning and line up your next best 5 prospects. If you've already booked with some of your best 5, who's your next best 5? Remember, we want to be focusing on Mac customers. So phone now, specify prospects, line up your next best 5. Once you have your top 5 lined up, give me a wave. Just be like, hey, I'm ready. All right, Jelaine is ready to go. Let's get it. Abby, Sam, Naisha, how we doing? Still lining them up? So again, if they're not full max, click on the next best thing. Remember, you can go with B tier customers. Married and over 30 or over 30 and in the house. But again, I probably wouldn't see a single guy that lives alone in his house. All right, so Abby, Jelaine are ready. Naisha, you ready? All right, remember, wave at me. Sam, you ready? Let's get it. All right, I'm gonna count us down. We're gonna make phone calls until 11:05, Christina. All right, you guys ready? Remember, we're all gonna make our first phone call together because it's the hardest one to make, and we do tough things like that as a team. Let's get it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! All right. Got some more appointments on the board. Love to see it. All right. So everybody text your manager really quick one-on-one. What your total number of appointments that you have booked is between now and Monday. Text your manager one-on-one how many total appointments you have booked between now and Monday. Abby, I think you made a mistake on yours because there's one for yesterday. So make sure you edit that. Gotcha. Abby, text me those times for those as well, please.
Okay, Nana, I got yours. Thank you.
Got it. And then Jelena, again, text me how many total appointments you have between now and Monday. You can text me the times of them as well. That way I can double check everything on my end. Jillian, are you still in the process of texting me? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Got it. Perfect. Jelena, tomorrow you will be late to your 4:30, so reschedule it. Either do the 3:45 at 3 o'clock or do the 4:30 at like 5:15. But remember, you want to have your appointments 90 minutes apart, bare minimum. If not, you'll be late. It's just because you're new and you're still working things out. But also if the customer like has any sort of conversation with you, it'll make it late. All right. So let's talk about the next thing. We have a contest that I'm going to be talking about. All right. A certain thing that I'd like to see some excitement for. All right. So when I ask this question, all I ask for is like, hey, raise the roof, jazz hands, scream, fist pump, whatever you want to do. All right. But are you guys ready to hear about your fast start contest? Woo whoop, whoop whoop, whoop whoop. All right. I have 2 rules for this part of training. 2 rules. The first rule is absolutely no questions whatsoever during the entirety of me talking about the fast start contest, or else you do not get a fast start contest and you ruin it for everybody else on the Zoom call as well. Got it? The second rule is absolutely no questions. All right, close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. You need to pull up the screen. I want to make sure I don't ruin anything. All right. No peeking. Great. All right, everybody open your eyes. All right, so your fast start contest is your first 10 days on the job starts tonight. Right after training ends at 2:30, you're full send, you're in your fast start, right? So you might be wondering, like, hey, why do we want to give you an incentive to work hard right away? There's a lot of reasons, but honestly, is to help you guys implement what you learned right away from training, because it's going to retain a lot easier if you implement it right away. But also, I want you guys to hit as many promotions as quickly as possible. I don't know about you guys, but my goal is always to work less and make more. I think that's the ultimate goal for everyone. And that's my goal with you guys in your fast start is like, hey, get to the higher commission levels as quickly as possible. So that way, Nyasha, you can work less and you can make more, right? And understand not all 10 days will be your best. It's going to be a bit of an emotional roller coaster, okay? Because, well, you're going to have days where you're feeling on top of the world. You're going to have days where you're feeling like the world's just taking advantage of you, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, to give you like numerical examples, like a high would be, let's say you have 3 or 4 appointments booked on the day, and you go and do the appointments, and they're like, I love Cutco, and they buy the homemaker set, right? And then the next appointment, they buy they already have Cutco, but they end up buying a flatware set from you, right? Because they saw it at one of the shows, and they're like, heck yeah, no, I want to get that. And then the next appointment's like a cookware sale, right? And then the next appointment's like a bunch of gifts and accessories for their kids because they already own everything Cutco. And you get 10 introductions, 20 introductions, 30 introductions, 10 introductions, and you're feeling on top of the world. Like, would you agree you're calling your manager at the end of that day like, shit, I'm the knife queen, I'm the knife king, like whatever records you got, I'm going to destroy them, right? But you also understand you're getting pretty high in the what? Getting pretty high in the high, because you also have to understand that you're going to have some character building days as well, right? Where you have 3 or 4 appointments booked on the day, and 2 of them call you the morning of and say, I really, Abby, I can't do the appointment today because I got to go walk my goldfish, right? And it happens to be at the time when we're doing the appointment. I just can't do it, right? Another person, like, you're going to call them, you're going to be on the Google Meet, and they're not even going to show up, right? And then you're going to have one appointment where they're like distracted the whole time because their kids are screaming in the background, and they buy a peeler from you and they give you 1 introduction. Would you guys agree you might call your manager at the end of the day feeling a little discouraged? Heck yeah, shoot, you might even be like, Tommy, I'm not sure if this job is for what? I'm not sure if it's for me. But now you're getting really low on the what? Now you're getting really low on the low, right? You have to understand that it's all a part of the process. It's a numbers game. There's a reason that we call them averages, right? It's because the more appointments you do, the more that the averages run true, right? And so don't get too high on the highs, don't get too low on the lows. If you just focus on your effort and consistency with that, all the results will work out. Make sense? Just keep it rolling. So again, the keys to your fast start is do a heckin' ton of appointments, right? You want to work harder than you normally would. If you want to do 5 appointments a week, you probably want to be shooting for 10 plus a week during your fast start, right? If you want to do 10 appointments a week, you want to be shooting for 15, 20 plus a week, right? Because you want to build that momentum and always be focusing on your best prospects first. Sam, I don't care how many appointments you do, focus on your best 5 always. Because that way you're always seeing quality clients and you're building your list with quality customers as well. And this is our 10K fast starter legacy wall. So we have this for our $10,000 achievers. These are people that have sold $10,000 or more within their first 10 days. This means they made over $2,000 in income and hit 4 promotions within their first week and a half on a new job. Would you guys agree that that looks pretty good on a resume? Hell yeah. Right. And we like to immortalize these people for their accomplishments. I actually got to meet Trip Twyman when I first started back in 2015. He was the first person I ever met at a conference. It was a really cool dude. Armando worked with for a while. He's a really cool dude. Darian McMillan, I believe, so you guys notice that like not all of these people sold a ton over 10K, right? They're like a couple $100 over the mark. So do you guys think they hit it like with plenty of time left? Like, no, this was like a fourth quarter buzzer beater at the like last possible minute, making sure that they made it happen. Like Darian McMillan would think was about, I think she was at like 8K at the end of like the last day. And she ended up calling a couple of her aunts in Philippines for appointments at like 10 p.m. on the last day of the fast start, and ended up closing some sets. And that's what put her over her 10K mark, right? Like the last appointment, the last day kind of thing. We also have RJ Ruckel's super cool. I love Noam Baltanester's story because Noam's goal was to sell $15,000 in his fast start. Now, show me with your fingers, how many thousands do you think he sold by advanced training 1 on Monday? If his goal is 15,000 for the first 10 days, how many thousand do you think he sold within his first 3 days? Show me. Do you think it was 1, 2, 3, 4,000, 5,000? But it's like 1,000, 2,000, 2,000. It was a trick question. He was at $150 after his first 3 days. Would anybody feel a little discouraged at their 15K goal if he only sold 150 first couple days? I get, dude, he called his manager and tried to quit. He was like, I'm a medical major. I'm trying to be a doctor. I don't know why I'm in this sales job. And, you know, the managers talked to him about why he was working hard. And I think that's important to remember is like, Donna, why are you here? Like, why are you working hard? What skills are you looking to develop while you're here? And that's what the manager brought up to Noah, because Noah wanted to be the best he could be in terms of, bedside manner and approaching his customers and retaining clients, right? And building familiar relationships with his clients in the future. And that being said, he continued with it. He finished strong on those last 7 days. And that's how he sold 16,542. And he was the record holder in our division for a while, despite only selling 150 within his first 3 days. Another cool thing would be Mike Lancia. Mike Lancia holds the record for most appointments completed in someone's first 10 days to hit $10,000. He did 54 appointments within his first 10 days. He didn't come from the best background. He came from kind of a sketchy part of town, so to speak. And despite that, even because like he didn't feel super confident in his list, he just did more appointments than anybody else. And because he outworked everybody, that's how he got his results, right? So I don't care what your list looks like. You can get on this wall if it's something that you're interested in. And we got a couple Vegas people. Gavin Hunley is a super cool dude as well. But that being said, the current record holder, if you guys are curious, like who holds the record in our division for their first 10 days, it's Isaac Alvarez. He sold 20,671 within his first 10 days. He did that on 38 appointments. He made 34 sales. So do you think he was just focused on anybody on his list? No, he's focusing on best prospects first, right? Also, if you're curious as to the regional record, it's 36,000. If you're curious as to the national record, it's 44,000 in someone's first 10 days. So if you guys are like, Tommy, I want to go after the record, it's a lot of work, but you can do it. The guy that broke the record was from Somerset, New Jersey. I think he did 90 plus appointments his first 10 days. It's insane. But anyways, who's next? All right. Who's next? Now let's talk about the actual contest itself. So remember, it's your first 10 days on the job. You only get one fast start. The days are incorrect, but write this down. The first day is today, the 12th. Your last day of your fast start is Monday, the 22nd. First day is today, the 12th. The last day is Monday, the 22nd. All right. Now, if you count it as technically like 10 and a half days, because today's kind of like a half day, but I'm not telling anybody. All right. We'll say it's 10 days. So let's talk about the specific details. So I'm going to talk about some of the lower levels that you can achieve. And then I'll talk about the big baller levels at the end, which will be 10K plus for those of you interested in going big. So when you sell $8,000 within your first 10 days on the job, that's $1,500 in income. You're also in between your third and fourth promotion. So because you're in between promotions, we like to hook you up with a twofer. So you get 2 pieces of Cutco for 1 level, and you get the Cutco spare tire. All right. Sam's like, what a forever guaranteed tire. Now we give you the master carving set, right? And I love having the master carving set in my collection because anytime there's a big family event or there's a big barbecue, what do you think people are asking me to bring? My Cutco, right? I'm always bringing my carving set. And I distinctly remember going to one of my old managers' houses for Thanksgiving dinner, and he had his parents over, and he asked me to bring my Cutco because this stuff was still in storage, right? And I was like, come on, man, you left it in storage. He's like, it's a big move, and I hadn't gotten them out yet, right? So I brought all my Cutco, and it was funny because his parents were there like, oh, you sell Cutco too? I was like, yeah, I've been doing it for, a year or two at that point. And they were just asking me a bunch of questions, right? About like my goals and why I was working there and what I was working towards and why I was working so hard. And I was just telling him, the goals that I had, the ambitions that I had, why I was working hard, the impact that I wanted to make on my community. And because of that, they looked at me and they're like, we want to buy some Cutco from you. And I was like, what? They're like, we want to buy some Cutco. They're like, do you have a little like blue book, or do you have like a site that we could look at? I'm like, heck yeah. And I pulled up the site, pulled up a list of knives, and they're like, because we already have a lot of Cutco, they're like, just pull up a list, we'll pick up what we want. And they were like, I want this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, that one. And they're like, and you don't have to give us a deal or anything, just charge us full price. Don't give us any freebies because we know it counts against your commissions. It was like a $500 order for me just showing up with my Cutco. I didn't ask them to buy or anything. They just are like, yeah, we'll buy from you. So do you think it's worth it to like bring Cutco with you where you go? Heck yeah, right? And that's why I love the carving set, because it's an excuse. Anytime there's a family roast, family event, a big family occasion where everybody's going to be there, it's good to have, right? And that's not my only goal when I go to a family occasion, but if it happens, it happens, right? And that's at AK. So we're already starting off pretty strong. Now, when you sell lucky number $7,000 your first 10 days, we're going to hook you up with the machete. All right. The jungle knife, the Cutco butcher knife. So for those of you that are like, hey, Tommy, I want to run through the jungle with this. I want to play some Fruit Ninja. I got you. All right. And again, this is available in the 3 larger sets. So naturally, you're a lot more likely to sell those because you're more confident in some of the pieces that come in it if you have one of them. Right. And I love this for the melons and the frozen foods. It's great for all that. But we're still going. All right. When you sell $6,000 your first 10 days. Now, to preface this, I want to talk a little bit about the effort it takes to hit results. Right. So when you sell $6,000 your first 10 days, that's $1,000 in income. And that's 3 promotions. Would anybody be excited about that, by the way? Heck yeah, that'd be pretty sexy. Now, also with that, I want to talk about the effort it takes to hit the goal. Right? Because we could talk about and be very results focused, but you want to focus on the effort because the effort creates the results, right? It takes about 3 appointments a day. So if you can commit to 3 appointments a day within your first 10 days, you can hit this goal. And we're going to hook you up with another twofer. We're going to hook you up with a Cutco slicer, the best bread knife in the world, and the Cutco turning fork. Now, remember, this is the knife that sold me on Cutco. This is the one I was like, heck yeah, lights out. That's my favorite. And the turning fork, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really use a lot until I moved out. But now I use this every single day, turn the meats, veggies, getting things out of jars. It's an awesome tool. And again, 2 pieces Cutco for the 1 level. This is a popular level to go after. I know what some of you are thinking, like, Tommy, do I pick the slicing set, or do I end up going with the butcher knife, or do I go with the master carving set? Like, hey, the one that you end up getting, that's your decision on you, right? Now, when you sell $5,000 within your first 10 days, we're going to hook you up with arguably one of the most necessary knives in anyone's kitchen, the Cutco Petite Chef. All right. And you remember us talking about this on the first day. Melts through the carrots, the celery. Like, shoot, Sam, if you wanted to, man, you could shave with this knife. It's a razor. I don't recommend it. It's like an 7.5 inch, almost 8 inch blade. It's not going to be very safe, but this thing melts. And as soon as you chop with Cutco, there's no going back, not at all. Now, when you sell $4,000 within your first 10 days, If you guys remember, our average order in our division right now is about $400. So this means if you can process one order a day over the next 10 days, that breaks down to 2 appointments a day. If you can do 2 appointments a day over the next 10 days, you'll very likely, based on the averages, hit this level, which would be the Cutco Queso Cuchillo. All right, the traditional cheese knife. And as you guys remember, I'm going to tell some bad jokes today, right? For those of you that didn't remember, I'm going to do it. And so because a lot of my customers look at this knife and they're like, Tommy, what in the heck would I use this knife for? And I look at them like, well, most of my customers only use it on Sundays because it's holy. Woo! All right. Terrible joke, and I love it. All right. No, but I'm like, so the holes create air pockets, right? You guys remember this, good for potatoes, apples, cucumbers, zucchinis, lemons, limes. It's the #1 selling knife we've made for 30 years. It's available in the 2 larger sets that we make. It's an awesome piece to have, right? I think every customer should have this one. Now, when you sell $3,000, that's right, we're still going. When you sell $3,000, your first 10 days, this would be like getting an order a day, doing 2 appointments a day. But let's say you don't necessarily get the results that you were excited about. You can still win the Cutco Super Shears. All right. So this would be like a $300 average order. So like well below our average in our division. But if you still get 1 a day, I don't care what your customer base looks like, we can still hook you up with a pair of shears. Right. And remember, they're so expensive. Some people get half now and buy the other half later because they come apart for easy cleaning. Right. They get half now, buy the other half later. No. All right. It's okay. Another bad dad joke. It's okay. So I love these ones. It's good for everything in the kitchen. I have 7 pairs at my house. I have 3 in my office. I got 2 in the kitchen, got 1 in the living room and 1 in the bedroom, right? We got them everywhere because we use them all the time. And that's at $3K. But guess what? Like none, there's still more. All right. There's still other levels. When you sell 2,500 within your first, how many days do you have again? Show me with your fingers. How many days do you have? Then your first 10 days, we're going to hook you up with the Cutco Petite Carver. And this is probably the most versatile knife in the collection. Like if you could only choose one knife, like if you're stranded on a deserted island, I'd probably go with this one because of the versatility. Because you can use it from the tough stuff to like squash and the pineapples and stuff to cutting the meats to, I mean, it's still delicate enough to slice through a tomato. It's awesome. Now, when you sell 2,000, your first how many days again? First 10 days, right? 2,000 first 10 days. Some of you are like, Tommy, I'm thinking that this weekend. What are you talking about? 2,000 your first 10 days would be a divisional average order every other day. That breaks down to 1 appointment a day. I don't care how busy you are. If you can do 1 appointment a day, you're going to still get something. We're going to hook you up with a Cutco paring knife. And this is probably one of my favorite tools that I kind of grew into, right? Because like when I was 17, I was like, what the hell am I going to use a paring knife for, right? But now that I cook and I do a lot of stuff on my own, what do you think I use every single day? I use this paring knife, right? Anytime we make smoothies, anytime we're slicing up the vegetables, whatever it is, this is the bad boy that I'm doing. De-seeding the peppers we just had the other day. I love this tool. It has a long handle, makes it really, really comfortable. And it's a really great gift. Most of my customers will buy this as gifts for their kids and such. Is awesome. Now, when you sell 1,500, your first 10 days, right? 1,500 your first 10 days. This would be an order every other day. So 1 appointment a day. Maybe you don't get the averages you want. We'll still hook you up with the Cutco spatula spreader. I know some of you are like, Tommy, this is it. This is the one I was waiting for, right? The Cutco spatula spreader. So it's really wide, and because of the way we polish the steel, it's really reflective. So that way, like you can always check your eyebrows, check the fit, make sure you're looking good while you're in the kitchen. But I also like it because, well, it's good for the sandwiches, the bagels, lasagnas, as you guys know. But I really like it for music. This is a dad joke, okay? I really like it for music. It's really good for music. Does anyone here like music? Who here likes music? Show of hands. Everybody? Okay, great. I thought so. So what's cool is if you hit the spatula spreader against the counter, it'll make a ringing sound. It makes a note. Do you guys want to know what note it makes? A B sharp. Because Cutco will always be sharp. Woo! All right. And I can tell from the reaction, some of you are like, Tommy, that was by far the greatest joke I've ever heard in the history of my life. And some of you are like, Tommy, that is the absolute worst joke I've ever heard in my life. and that's fine. It was super cringeworthy, and that's the point. Because you guys might not think it's super funny, but you know who thinks it's hilarious? Mr. and Mrs. Jones. They love the cringy, corny, lame jokes because they're moms and dads themselves. So that being said, if you get the customer to laugh, do you think you're more likely to make a sale on the appointment? Heck yeah, you're building that trust, you're building that relationship. So for those of you that want to implement this joke immediately into your appointments, I'm gonna give you the outline. You ready? You ask them, you say, hey, spatula spreader is good for music. Do you like music? What does everybody say to that? Yeah, I like music. Great. If you hit it against the counter, it'll make a ringing sound. It makes a note. Do you know what a note it makes? B sharp. Because Cutco will always be sharp. Right? And if you guys ever see a music teacher, they'll be like, actually, it's a high C. B sharp doesn't exist. And you can tell them technically a B sharp is a high C. I studied music. It's the same thing, right? Because a B is just a half step above a B is a C sharp. Anyways, I'll explain it to you later if you care. Let's keep moving. When you sell $1,000 your first 10 days, $1,000 your first 10 days. So you're like, Tommy, I'm going to sell that on my first appointment. What are you talking about? 1,000 your first 10 days. This would be one appointment a day. And let's say you take next weekend off. I don't know why you take next weekend off, but let's say like something crazy happens or you got some crazy event. Don't care. One appointment a day and you take 3 days off during your first 10 days, you can still get something. And since you hit your first promotion, we're going to give you the #1 selling knife we've made since the 1940s, the Cutco trimmer. All right. This one's just go to. Right? Mrs. Jones reaches for this for everything because of the size and just the length. It's just a perfect tool. It's a reliable tool, and I love it. And guess what? There's still a lovable know this, right? When you sell 2 orders by advanced training on 1 on Monday. This is the only one that has a deadline that's before the end of the fast start. When you process 2 orders by advanced training 1 on Monday, so that means you have all of today. Who has appointments today, by the way? You have all of tomorrow. Who has appointments tomorrow? You have Sunday. Who has appointments Sunday? And you have Monday. Who has appointments Monday? If you don't, guess what? You can make phone calls and book Sunday, Monday, right? But you only have to process what? 2 orders by advanced training 1 on Monday. So that means it could be a trimmer and a cutting board. It can be a homemaker set and a full cookware set, right? It just has to be 2 orders. But once you do that, we're going to hook you up with the Cutco table knife, right? The greatest steak knife you will ever use in your entire life. And you will forever be comparing Cutco to every steak knife you go to at any restaurant in the future. You know how I know? Because I do it every single damn time we go out to eat. I'm just complaining about the knives. I'm like, I wish it was Cutco because this stuff sucks. I've gone as far, like Sam, I've hidden this in my suit jacket when I went out to eat at a steakhouse restaurant. And I put this in my suit jacket so I could have some good cut with, right? Not all the time, right? Because it's difficult to get the knife in there, but it's awesome, right? I love this piece. And you might be wondering, why do we only give you 1? Because if I gave you 4, Delana, who's going to steal the other 3? Mom, dad, grandma, right? So we're giving you 1. You let them know, hey, if you want more, you got to buy your own. All right. You got to buy your own. This one's for who? This one's for me. Right. Now let's talk about the big baller levels. All right. Now we call them the big baller levels because if you want to get paid like a baller, you have to work like a baller. All right. So $10,000 your first 10 days. It's 4 promotions. That's $2,000 in income. You also automatically qualify for our President's Club Award. That is a signed letter of recommendation from the president and CEO of our company. The president of a $300 million marketing company referring you to any job, internship, application, whatever it is that you want in the future. It's like taking your resume currently and dipping it in gold. Like, heck yeah, I want to get that, right? On top of that, you're going to be on our legacy wall, so we get to brag about you for the rest of the time, show you off to everybody and how awesome you are. And some of you are like, Tommy, I don't care about that immortalization. What else, right? What else is there for us? And we like to treat our people to signature experiences. Does anybody like quality experiences? Like nice dinners, travel, stuff like that? Great. We do too, all right? So when you sell $10,000 your first 10 days, we're going to hook you up with a VIP night on the town, all right? And we do this generally after our Summer Conference 2 event, which will be this Wednesday. So you guys will kind of come up with our own time where we're going to go out, maybe do like a day at Topgolf or something like that, whatever you're vibing with. And it's going to be all on us, right? What I love about this VIP night is, first of all, has anybody been to a really fancy meal before where you had to like dress up just to walk through the door? Has anybody kind of had that experience? Would anybody like to do that for the price of free? Hell yeah, right? And that's what I love about this event is that it's all free. right? It's all on us. And I think that's pretty cool. But not only is the meal going to be awesome, like Gavin Hundley, who I mentioned earlier, is one of the 10K fast starters. He said the steak that he had at this event was so tender, it literally melted in his mouth. He didn't even have to cut it with a knife. It was insane. And for those of you the vegan vegetarian, we have great options for that as well. They're insane. Like I would eat it, and I love my meat, right? It's awesome. But it's also a great networking opportunity. Has anybody heard the saying, in business, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, right? And has anybody heard you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most? Has anybody heard that before? All right, if you haven't, now you have, right? And I think that's important to note is like, hey, look at the 5 people that are in your circle, the 5 people you spend the most time with, because you're an average of those people. All right. And if you're not excited about where they are, where they're going in their life, I think it's time to reassess, right? And surround yourself with different people. No offense to any of your friends, but what I love about this event is that it allows you to surround yourself with other motivated and achieving individuals that are challenging themselves to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. And those are people that you want to have in your circle that you surround yourself with that are going to continue to challenge you, help you to grow. And shoot, they might be future business partners. They might be people that hold you accountable and help you hit your goals here, help you to achieve your goals of graduating college debt free, supporting the family, whatever it is. But these people that you meet at these types of events will help to challenge you, help you to grow. And that's one of my favorite things about it. Plus, quality meal, right? Take that all day. This would take about 4 appointments a day. For those of you who keep track of the effort, take about 4 appointments a day in your first 10 days. Now, when you sell 12,500 your first 10 days, that's about 5 appointments a day. We're going to give you the entire entertainer pack. This is like the 4 for 4 deal, right? We're going to give you all 4 of those pieces of the entertainer pack. The ice cream scoop, the pizza cutter with the blade that comes out, the peeler, which is insane, makes it rain, the carrots, and the holy knife. We got you, right? When you sell 15,000 your first 10 days, that's $3,500 in income. You're in between your 4th and your 5th promotion. And so because of that, we're going to hook you up with one of the most expensive individual types of pieces that Cutco makes in their collection, which is the Cutco block, right? Specifically, we're going to hook you up with the Cutco Homemaker block. And what I love about this is, first of all, they're all pressure treated and sealed. So it is designed to last 15, 20, 30, 50 plus years in your home, right? It's extremely durable. And the holes are drilled all the way to the bottom. Like they're drilled all the way through. So that way, if it gets dusty or gross in there, like you can just rinse it out, Sam. Like you don't have to let it like continue to be gross. There's a loose fitting plastic cap on the bottom, so all the water will rinse right out. It has the rubber pegs, so it's not sliding across the counter, like it stays put. And has that super sexy Cutco logo on it, so you can always be representing. And it's a great way for you to like build up your own set over time. That's kind of what I like about this piece. And again, like if you're to buy it by itself, like this is one of the most expensive individual things that Cutco makes, right? Take about 5 appointments a day if you're going after that. 10K I've seen done quite a few times per campaign. 15K I see done every now and again. This next level I see done like 2 or 3 times a year, because it's only for the people that want to put in the effort, to put in the time. You're going to be eating, drinking, sleeping, breathing Cutco for the next 10 days. But for those of you that want to go after it, it's going to be worth it. When you sell 20,000 your first 10 days, that's 5 promotions. That's $5,000 in income. You're also now in bonus land. So from here on out, after you sell 20K, you'll be making a 5% bonus at the end of each month on top of your 30% on your sales. And we're going to send you on our annual region trip. All right. Does anybody here have a travel bug? Like you like traveling? Okay, great. I'm going to play this video because I think it does it more justice than I ever could. Check this out. Sound coming through okay? This is in the Cayman Islands. Beautiful hotel that they put us up in. Beautiful views, always. They rented out an entire beachfront restaurant for us one year, which is super cool. See, we like to have fun. The beachfront restaurant again. Gentleman with the beard is a good guy to be friends with. His name's Gilbert Gonzalez. He's the one that puts all these events together. You guys like golf? Most of the upper level execs like golfing, but there's also other excursions. You jet skis. Some people go parasailing. A lot of cool stuff to do. Look at those catamarans everywhere. Beautiful waters. There's snorkeling, scuba diving. Nightlife is awesome. Parks and Rec make it awesome. They always hold a performance for us the first day we're at it at these events. Some sort. Look at that. All right. So that looked pretty cool, don't it? All right. And so what I love about this experience is that generally we do this once a year, right? And we usually go to like Puerto Vallarta or Cabo San Lucas, right? Down in Mexico. And what I love about this event is we generally like to go all inclusive. Has anybody been to an all-inclusive resort before? All right, for those of you that don't know what it is, or some of you may need a refresher, basically when you show up and check in, you get a really ugly wristband that doesn't match any of the fits, all right? And you're gonna be a little bit salty about it, but it literally gives you everything for free. Has anybody wanted to order unlimited room service? Just stuff your face? Great, it's all free. Has anybody wanted to eat as much as they possibly can at the hotel restaurants? Great, it's all free. Has anybody wanted to go and get some Kool-Aid from the adult beverage store and drink as much Kool-Aid as you like? There you go, it's free, right? And not only that, like, is that pretty cool, right? But, you know, sipping margaritas on a beach is pretty nice. But it's also, again, another great opportunity to hang out with top achieving individuals. Only the top people across the entire Western region go to this event. Top managers, top reps, top Cutco sales professionals, right? So all the upper level brass and execs within the company, all the best of the best people to learn from, to grow from, and build relationships with. That might be, again, future business partners, people that give you coaching in the future, or people that help you to step up your game to the next level. This is one of my favorite events because not only did I get to sit margaritas on the beach, but I got to hang out with all the top achievers and be able to connect with them, right? Now, do you think I talk business on the trip? A little bit, but we're mainly just hanging out, having fun. But because I built that relationship, like, Abby, what could I do come Monday after the trip? Reach out to them and be like, hey, loved hanging out with you, but I'd love to talk some business and, you know, open that up, right? And ask you some questions and such to help me to improve. So it's a great event, and it's a good time, right, to say the least. And it's, again, free when you hit that up. So this is the fast start, and I recommend taking a screenshot or a picture of this. You guys will be texting your manager here in a minute what your goal is for your first 10 days. But before you do that, does anyone want to know the best part about this contest? Is anybody like, heck yeah, what's the best part? It is cumulative. And some of you are like, Tommy, does that mean what I think it means? And the answer is hell yes. It means when you sell $10,000 your first 10 days, not only do you get 4 promotions, $2,000 in income, the VIP night, you're on the legacy wall, you get the President's Club Award, the whole 9, but you also win the master carving set and the butcher knife and the slicer, the turning fork, the petite chef, the cheese knife, the shears, the petite carver, the paring knife, spatula, spreader, the trimmer, and the Cutco table knife. What? So why is that 20K level pretty spicy? Because not only do you get that all-inclusive region trip that we take every year to Mexico, but you also get the Cutco Homemaker Block, the most expensive individual thing that we make. You get the entire Cutco Entertainer Pack. You still get that VIP night out in the town, and you win all the Cutco that now fits in your brand new block. You are literally winning more in prizes in Cutco than you actually make in income your first 10 days. I don't know how we make any money. Like, this is not a profitable contest for us, right? But again, it's only your first what? It's only your first 10 days. So you're going to text your manager one-on-one what your goal is for your first 10 days, what level that you want to go after. And before you do so, I want you to keep in mind the effort it takes to hit the goal, right? Because obviously everybody wants to go for 20K, but that takes about 7 or 8 appointments a day. If you can commit to 7 or 8 appointments a day, that's about 40 to 50 phone calls a day. For sure, let's get after it, right? But let me go over this real quick. So if you can only do about 1 appointment a day, you're super busy, I'd shoot for anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000. If you can do 2 appointments a day, I'd be shooting anywhere between $2,500 to $4,000. If you can do 3 appointments a day, I'd shoot for anywhere between $5,000 to $7,000. No one's allowed to go for 8,000 because it takes the same effort to hit 8K as it does to hit 10K. So you might as well just go for what? Might as well just go for 10K, which is 4 appointments a day, 5 appointments, 6 appointments, 7+ appointments a day. So text your manager one-on-one what your sales target is, right? Because Abby, if you text me the sales target, I'll know how many appointments a day it takes. So text your manager one-on-one what your sales target is, but base it off of how many appointments per day that you can do. All right, text me the sales number, please, as well. Abby, think that's doable. Think you can crush that. Jelaine, text me the sales number as well that you want to go after. All right, Jelena, just so you're aware, 3 appointments a day would be anywhere between $5,000 to $7,000. If you do 3 appointments a day, you'll hit one of those, just based on averages, even if you just hit the bare minimums. All right, we're all good on my end. Christina, let me know when you're good.
I am ready, Freddie.
All right. Full send.
Oh, all right. Let's get into it. Perfect. How did you guys like your fast start contest? It's good? It's nice? Solid? Okay, perfect. That's what I love to hear. Yep. And so I told you guys to start the day off for the 3rd day. Thank you, Sam. Okay, to cover everything for today, we're just going to talk about the contest that we have, what's up for grabs. So that's why we wanted you guys to take some notes. We started with the Fast Start contest. I told you for our students that I was going to talk a little bit about our scholarships, okay, and then I'm going to talk about the advertising bonus, okay. So that'll be the last thing we wrap up with before we dive into all of the stuff you need to learn to wrap up for training. Cool? Awesome. Next up is talking about our All-American Scholarship. So if you guys want to take some notes, definitely can. Like I said, if you're in school or you're about to be in school or in the future you're going to, you can take some notes. I'll try to go quick because I know it's only about half of you that are in school. So how the All-American Sales Scholarship works is it's just based off of sales, okay? It's top 25 for the fall and spring, and it's top 50 for the summer. Okay, as I said, it is based on sales. The closer you are to number 1, the bigger the scholarship is. Just to give kind of a frame of reference, we've had a couple different scholarship winners in our organizations. I would say typically for the fall and spring, if you're trying to at least just break into the top 25, then you're looking at doing about $20,000 in order to break into that for the fall and spring. Okay, for the summertime, it is a little bit more competitive, but it is the end of the summer right now. But I would say typically you're looking at about like 30, 35 to break into the top 50 in the summertime. Cool. Next up, we have the All-American Team Builder Scholarship. Okay, so next we have the All-American Team Builder Scholarship. So if you want to take some notes, you can. The Team Builder Scholarship, in order to get this one down, you kind of have to understand the nature of our business as a sales company. Because as a sales company, we are always focused on growth. We're always trying to have our best year ever, our best campaign ever. We're always trying to break last year's records. And that's evident by the fact that we've had our best year ever as a company for the last 12 years, okay? And so being that we're always focused on growth, we're always trying to break records, have our new best campaign, we're always trying to hire new people so that we can grow to those new levels, okay? So we're growth focused. And part of that is that we do work with a lot of students, okay? Like I said, about half of the class, typically each training class we have will be about students. And I think they're just naturally attracted to the programs due to the flexibility of the position. I know that was a big reason that I ended up working here, okay? And so that means, though, at the end of each semester, at the end of every summer, we have turnover, okay? People graduate, they get new jobs, they land internships, okay? They move on to their next big thing. Okay, so not only do we work with students, but we have a very decent turnover rate. Okay, so that means we're always focused on growth, okay, because big teams beat little teams, all right? I actually want you guys to join me in the chat box real quick, okay? What is every company's biggest expense? Okay, you can join me in the chat box. What is every company's biggest expense? Paying employees, products. Any other guesses? I was kind of hinting at it because this is our blank bonus. I don't know. I think Abby's thinking, but I'm positive. It is advertising. Okay? Advertising is every company's biggest expense, okay? And if you think about it, this is how all companies have a big expense, okay? Is because we advertise on every job website you could think of, like Snag a Job, Monster, Indeed, okay? We advertise on things like Craigslist. We work with our high schools and our colleges, LinkedIn, Instagram, okay? So we have a lot of different sources, okay? Which means that the vast majority of people who just randomly apply with Cutco through sources like websites or job links, they're not always the types of people that we're looking for that we want to bring onto our team, okay? And I think you guys can understand that. Like living in Vegas, I'm sure you guys understand that like some of the people we get on Craigslist are not always the the people that we're looking for. Yeah, you guys all know. Okay. Let's just say I'm really happy that you guys can't see each other in the interview. Okay. Some of the people that show up, I'm like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, great. So, Tommy says he's never experienced this, but I get a lot of shirtless people that hop out of my interviews. Don't know why, but I do. So I'm real happy that you guys can't see each other. So it means, like I said, that there's people that hop on that were like, this isn't really the types of people that we want to build our teams with, that we want to continue to grow with, okay, and take us to the next level. Okay? My dog's snoring. Okay? And as I said, we're always looking to continue to grow in these different areas. Okay? And if you want to know the people that we want to grow with, you can easily look around the training class. Okay? You can even look at the people that we've had in our 10K fast start wall. Okay? You guys are the types of people that we're looking to build our teams with. And you guys have probably heard this phrase before, birds of a feather flock together. Has everybody heard that phrase before? Birds of a feather flock together, birds of a feather fly together. Okay, awesome. So basically all it means is that you spend time with, you hang out with people like yourself. Okay, so that kind of ties into our growth and our goals of continuing to grow and hire. Okay, and if I'm being honest with you guys, okay, that's where this team builder scholarship starts to come into place, okay? Because this whole competition is set up to be an incentive, to be a motivator for you, to help you grow your office, for you guys to help your office hire more people, and for you to get involved in a different aspect, okay? Because my job, Tommy's job, okay, our job is like 60-70% of it is recruiting and training, okay, new sales representatives, okay? So this is the incentive for you guys to help us with that, okay? But not just help us hire more people, help us hire the right people, okay? More people like you guys. Because like I said, if you think of any other company, this is how they find their best people, okay? If you think of even on big scales, okay? Like when it comes to sports, people go out and they recruit, okay? They want to recruit the best people. They ask about the best people. You can think of this on like a Google or Facebook level, okay? Do you think Google, or I guess Meta now, okay? Do you think Google or Meta are like putting ads on Craigslist or Snag a Job like Google needs a new programmer? Like, no, okay? They go to their people and they're like, you are the best programmers in the world. Who could you recommend to us? And even on small scales, you could think of this, okay? Have you guys ever been to the gym before and they ask you to recommend some more people so that you can get like a month off or whatever? Okay, they do that to me all the time. They're just like, yeah, just recommend more people, okay, and we'll give you like $25 off. And I'm like, great, thanks, sounds good, okay? Even my wife, okay? My wife during the pandemic lost her job as a teacher and then became a teacher at a different school. And one of the first things that they told her, because they have a teacher shortage right now, is they're like, hey, if you recommend anybody to the job, we'll give you a $500 bonus for recommending that person, okay? And it's because companies don't just want great people, they want other great people that bring great people with them, okay? And honestly, if I could clone you guys, I would do that in a heartbeat, okay? If I could have 2 Sams, Abby's, Jelena's, and Nanas, that would be fantastic. Now, I don't have the technology for that. I also don't think most of you would let me clone you, okay? So this is where the Team Builder Scholarship comes in, okay? This is where the Team Builder Scholarship comes in. This is where it comes to play, okay? So the way it works is if you refer somebody to the job with Cutco and they hear about the job through that source, we call that a personal recruit, or a PR for short, okay? A PR is somebody that heard about the job, okay, from somebody that already works with the company, okay? I have somebody right now that's doing online training because he's in the military, okay? And so he was recommended by somebody else on my team, okay? And I believe a couple of you are recommended as well. That's how you heard about the job, okay? And so what this does, this kind of ties into the advertising bonus as well. So what this is that this takes almost all the legwork off of you guys, okay? And let me tell you guys how impactful this can be for your teams. Because I know some of you are sitting here, you're like, okay, cool, what's in it for me? But some of you are really altruistic people and you're like, well, I want to build something bigger than myself. I want to get involved in a higher level. How can I do that? How can I help the team? So let me show you guys how impactful this can be, okay? Because frame of reference, I remember having somebody on my team, Katie Fife. Katie was recommended by somebody on my team, Ali Ayala, okay? And so Ali ended up selling about $18,000. Katie sold about $10,000, and Katie recommended 3 other people who each sold $15,000, okay? And so that spring, we were one of the top offices that spring because of just how we were growing our team. And it was so cool because most of these people, they weren't recommending because of any extra thing. They literally just wanted to work with their friends. That's what was the funniest part. I remember texting Katie and telling her like, hey, I owe you some prizes. And she texted me back. She was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, you recommended, Truman and Amanda, and they're doing really well. I was like, so I actually owe you some prizes, like as a thank you for helping us build our team. And she was like, I got prizes for doing this? And I was like, yeah, you do. She's like, I just like working with my friends. And I was like, I mean, that's great. I appreciate that. That's fantastic. I still owe you prizes though, okay? But it does actually start to become this huge impactful thing, okay? Because I think we sold almost $200,000 just that spring, not solely based off of just these people, but it contributed about almost $50,000, okay? For our office, or a little over $50,000 for our office, okay? Which is mind-blowing. Just from a couple people, it starts to build up and it adds, okay? And so that's where you guys can really impact the office and you can play a part in that. And what's really cool as well is not only is it like helping the office, but I actually think in turn it does kind of help the team. Okay, because I remember when Tommy and I were both assistant managers growing up in the business, neither of us recommended each other, okay? We just became friends throughout the business, okay? But it actually made us want to work harder and be more competitive, okay? Like Tommy would text me and be like, ooh, I just sold a homemaker. And I'd be like, cool, I'm going to go sell a signature set now. I hate you. And then he'd be like, well, I'm going to go sell an Ultimates. And I'd be like, well, I'm going to go sell a Cutco kitchen, okay? And it would make me and make him want to work harder and do more. And do you think the team just wanted to watch Tommy and I like try to fight for 1 and 2? No, of course not. They're sitting there like, well, why do they gotta be like number 1? And it made everybody else like want to move up and do more. And every year that Tommy and I were assistant managers, okay, Vegas was one of the top offices every single campaign. Okay? And it's because we continued to just like drive the team. We were building a culture there of wanting to work hard, wanting to grow. And it's because of the types of people we started to surround ourselves with. Right? And so this is where this can be so impactful, not only like in an office sense, but in a team sense. Okay? makes the job more competitive, makes it more fun, more exciting, okay? And so that's how the Team Builder Scholarship works a little bit, okay? Now, there is a catch. I do just want to throw out this last thing, especially for my students who may be interested in this. There is a catch for the Team Builder contest. The catch is that you have to have at least 3 PRs. Okay, the catch is you have to have at least 3 PRs to be qualified for the scholarship. Okay, and the reason is just to keep it fair. Okay, for example, Abby, let's say, you start working here and you're just a natural, okay? Like, it comes easy to you. You've got a great work ethic. You got skills. You're focused. You were talking to Tommy a lot, okay? And so you have a great campaign. You end up selling $100,000, okay? Now, let's say over the course of that campaign, you end up recommending Sam. Now, Sam, this is purely hypothetical. I don't think this is going to happen. Purely hypothetical. But let's say you recommend Sam, okay? And I'm not trying to speak anything to existence, but let's just say, Sam, you struggle a little bit with the job and you only end up selling $1,000 for this campaign, okay? Hey, and now you guys are probably going to knock that out this weekend, or at least get close to knocking that out this weekend, okay? So pure hypotheticals, okay? But if Abby sells $100,000 and Sam sells $1,000, okay, then technically their PR team together collectively, they've now done $101,000, okay? $101,000. If there was no 3 PR catch, okay, that means that Abby technically would win the Team Builder Scholarship because her team did $101,000, okay? But that's not really fair, okay? Because you're not really a team builder. You're just somebody that's really good at personal sales, okay? And so you would probably win the All-American Scholarship for that, the sales one. And you deserve to win the All-American Sales Scholarship because you're great at sales, okay? But it doesn't really make sense for you to win the Team Builder Scholarship just because you sold a lot, okay? So we want to make sure that we're recognizing people who are team builders, people who want to build something bigger than themselves, okay? So that's why we have that 3 PR catch, okay? And it's 3 PRs, once again, it's people who have heard about the job because of you, okay? And if we interview them, we like them, we think they're a good fit, they get accepted for the position, okay? It helps you work towards that scholarship, okay? And it's basically us saying thank you for being a liaison for these people and helping us hire more of the right people, okay? That's all it is we just want to thank you guys for helping us in that aspect. And that's how it works, okay? That's pretty much the breakdown. Any questions on either of the scholarships? No? Cool. So, those are the scholarships, the Fast Start contest, and the last one I want to talk about is the advertising bonus. Okay, this one's very simple since I've already explained a good amount on this the scholarship side. Okay, how the advertising bonus is, like I said, this takes about 90% of the legwork off of you guys, okay, and it really is just a thank you once again for helping us build the team. I'm just pulling up this slide here. There we go. Okay, this is the what's in it for you part, okay? Some of you may be sitting here and be like, okay, that's so cool. I get to help the team. I get to help other people. That's awesome. But what's in it for me? Okay, like what do I get out of this? Okay, so I know we hyped this up. Okay, before I dive into advertising bonus, one thing I do want to make clear really quick, okay? I want to make sure it's very clear is that this is not why we hired you, okay? We hired you guys to be sales reps. Okay, your job is to sell Cutco as a sales rep. Your job is to develop your sales skills, build a network of customers, develop your network of customers, and learn how to sell and sell successfully. That is your job. My job, Tommy's job, is to recruit and train. And so I want you guys to get involved in the Team Builder Scholarship and the All-American Scholarship and the advertising bonus. And I showed you guys how impactful it can be. But I don't want you guys to think that we're expecting like Jelena to go out now at CSN and start handing out flyers. Like Christina said, I gotta build the team. This is my job. Like, no, that's not what I'm expecting of her. Okay? Because that's not her job. That's our job. All right? And so because of this, okay, we have a way where you guys can actually get involved, okay, through the advertising bonus. Makes it very simple, okay? You focus on sales, developing your sales skills, and we focus on our jobs as recruiters, judge of talent, trainers of sales reps, okay? So that way you guys can actually utilize the Vector Impact app, okay, and get all the benefits from this contest without having to put in a whole bunch of work. Does that make sense? Okay, so as you remember yesterday when we were sorting your contacts, okay, you were kind of targeting prospects, people over the age of 30, okay, you were marking off businesses, things like that, and everybody else got sorted into a friend category, okay? So don't do anything yet, I'm just explaining how this works, but if you were to go into your Vector Impact app, you would see that there's a tab called Team Builder, okay? So everybody listed there, it would be technically a friend, okay? They're not a prospect, they're not a business, it would just be friend, okay? And you can actually select some of these contacts and you can send them straight to our receptionist system. And what I do every single week and what Tommy does every single week is we go through, we scrub the list, and we just send out pretty much the advertising. This is what it would look like. It'd be like, hey, Sam, we have some openings. Hey, we're looking for to fill some positions. It's flexible schedule, $25 starting pay. Let me know if you're interested or if you know anybody that'd be interested or wants more info. If you do, just go ahead and click the link. If not, we're sorry for bothering you. Okay, it's a very simple text message, very passive text message, but that way we can get the details out. They can learn a little bit more, and from there we can decide if we want to do a one-on-one with them, if we want to interview them, the same way that we did with you guys. Make sense? Okay. And so then we can help you guys get involved in the scholarship contest, and you don't really have to ever do any legwork, okay? All the legwork is on our end, and this gives us a really easy and direct pool on how to get the word out to people that we want to work with, because birds of a feather flock together, okay? So, like I said, I want to go into the last thing of what's in it for you, okay? Because obviously, you know, everybody wants to know what's in it for them, okay? So I'm going to get into this last part of what's in it for you. What do you gain from this contest, okay? So we have our PR contest. This is just the advertising part, okay? This is literally just getting the word out there. This isn't doing anything crazy. It's just helping us get the word out there, all right? So if you recommend 50 people, that's an extra day in your fast start. You recommend 75 people, that's 2 extra days in your fast start. 100 is 3 extra days, and 125 is 4 extra days in your fast start, okay? And for those of you who may even be looking at this like, I don't know, I think I could only get to 50, because I know there's gonna be a range for all of you guys, okay? Maybe you have 700 contacts in your phone. Maybe you have 300. Maybe you have 30. Okay. But I'm telling you, don't sleep on these extra days. Okay. Christian Hardy on my team got an extra day. He recommended like 60 people, I think. Okay. But he got an extra day in his fast start. He was at $8,600 on the last day of his fast start. Okay. But then he ended up selling a little over $2,000. $2,000 on that extra day that he got. And that's the reason he finished up as a 10K fast start. If it wasn't for that extra day, he would not be a 10K fast starter. Okay? So those extra days play a huge thing. I remember somebody on my team, Cody Francione, literally doubled his fast start on that one extra day that he got. He had sold $3,000 and then sold $3,600 on the extra day that he got. So don't sleep on those extra days. Even if it feels like, oh man, it's not a lot, okay? It's really what you put into finishing strong. All right. So like I said, 50 gets you an extra day, 75, 2 extra days, 100, 3 extra days, and 125, you now have two full weeks to go after your fast start contest. Okay. Now, what I would recommend, if you are interested in the Team Builder Scholarship, you're interested in the advertising bonus, and you're interested in some of the contests and prizes that we talked about, the number that I would want you to shoot for is at least 100. Okay. The reason 100 is because it's about a 10-to-1 metric on people who are interested in the job. So if you refer 100, typically on average, around 10 people respond. Hey, I'm interested. Can I get some more details? And then it's also about a 10-to-1 metric on people who are interested in us and we're interested in them. Okay, they go through the full interview process, get accepted, go through the job, go through training. So it's about a 10-to-1 and then another 10-to-1. Meaning if you refer 100 PRs, just based on stats, we can probably get you a PR in training next week, maybe even 2 or 3. Okay, maybe you have a shot of even getting into the scholarship. But the most we can get you started on getting into this scholarship. Okay, and like I said, that takes 95% of the legwork off of you guys. And so we're going to take a minute, go through this app. I'm going to play the video so you guys understand, because I always like to be very clear up front of how things work. I don't want there to be any surprises or questions on how we're doing things. I want to make sure you guys fully understand. Okay, but last thing I want to say, how would you guys feel, because I know this is pretty cool, giving you some extra days in your fast start. It's not bad. Okay, but how would you guys feel if I could sweeten the deal a little bit more? Would you guys want to hear about that? Okay, enthusiastic head nods. Okay, okay. At least I know Abby and are excited. Okay, excited. Awesome. So, what if I told you that for every single person that we give the job to, and we accepted them, that we would give you a $500 credit towards your fast start? Would you guys be excited about that? Okay, so if you recommend 5 people, that's like selling $2,500 in your fast start. That'd be pretty great. Okay, now I don't do that, so don't get too excited. Okay, but I know, how dare I? But imagine instead that I'd give you $1,000 credit for each and every single one of them. Would that be exciting? Okay. Now, if you recommend 5 people, that's like selling $5,000 in your fast start. Okay. Would that be exciting? Some of you don't trust me now. You're like, I don't know. You made one promise. You didn't fulfill that one. I don't know, Christina. Okay. Well, that is what we do, okay? Is we do $1,000 credit for each and every single one of them. So if you recommend somebody to the job, we like them, they finish up training, that's $1,000 credit towards your fast start for the next week. Okay? And that's why we have some people who get really excited, really involved in these things. Like I said, for Katie, I was like, you want a whole bunch of stuff. And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you want a whole bunch of stuff. Thank you for recommending some awesome people to the team. Okay? So just a little extra bonus there for you guys. Because like I said, in my opinion, this is why we do this. In my opinion, is we're already going to spend a certain amount of money on advertising. Like we're already going to pay Craigslist, Snag a Job, Web, all of that stuff. If I'm already going to do that and I'm not getting all the people that I want from those sources, it makes way more sense for me to just like budget some of that to give it to Abby, to give it to Sam, okay, to give it to Nana, because it just makes way more sense. If I'm already going to spend the money, well, I might as well be spending it on somebody that I know is going to get me people that I like and I want to work with, okay? And that's what I told you guys, is we're just going to reward you through free stuff because, well, it's just a thank you, okay? Thank you for helping us get more great people on our team. Boom. So let me go ahead and pull up this video so you guys can see how this works and see how you're going to utilize it in your app. Perfect. It's our favorite guy. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Perfect.
Welcome to the Vector Impact tutorial series. In the last section, we covered how your customers recommend prospects to you. Now we'll cover how you can recommend people to the sales rep position. To get started, we'll navigate to your friends list. Select the More tab, then select Team Builder from the list of
So just watch the video. Don't do anything yet because I want to make sure that it's clear before we have you guys do anything.
options. The first thing we see is a page that lists out the wills and won'ts. Our staff will introduce themselves with a text, offer each friend a chance to interview, and treat each friend with 100% respect. Our staff won't bug your friends, get offended if any friend ignores us, or hold against you anything your friends say or do. Consult with your trainer if you have any other questions. And once your trainer is ready, select Begin in the top right corner. This list will contain all the people from the device contacts page that weren't marked as a prospect and weren't dismissed as a business. Because of this, all the contacts are automatically selected for you, so you can just focus on deselecting any prospects or businesses that you might have missed. For anyone missing their first name, we'll want to add that in. Select the Fix button on the right side of the contacts row to begin editing. Then select Save. Changing someone's name in the app will not change it in your device's contacts.
The reason we do this is because I'm sure you guys have some nicknames for some of your friends, right? Okay, I've seen it all. I don't really care. But I also don't want to text somebody. I remember one of the people Katie recommended, Truman Worth, recommended a lot of his football friends, and all of them had football nicknames. And I remember one of them, it always just was so funny to me, is that one of his friends' name was Butterball. It was the only one he didn't change. And I was like, I'm sure Butterball is a really awesome person, but I have no idea who this is, and I'm not going to text him, hey, Butterball, we have openings. So if you could change that, that would be great, okay? So it doesn't change it in your phone, just changes it on our end so that I'm not texting Butterballs and Besties and all of these other things. So please let me know so I can change that.
The other name corrections, we'll do those on the next page. Once we've filtered out prospects and businesses as well as added missing first names, we select Submit. From there, we're brought to the list of people we submitted. Now we're able to make sure that all the names are work appropriate. To edit a name here, just select their row.
This is a terrible example. I don't need you to change Jeffs to Jeffries and Bobs to whatever, okay? I just need an appropriate name that I can text them. That's it.
Make the change, save. In the search bar, we see an icon that brings up the filters that points out contacts that may need their names adjusted. At any point, we can select Next to move on to the next step.
And
The third page.
Okay, we're not going to do the special introductions just because it takes too long. Okay, literally all we want you guys to do is just go through, select who you want to recommend to the job, okay, and then we'll be able to go through, sort from there. Now, before you guys get started, okay, I just want to say one last thing. before you get started, okay, is that I know you guys have already sorted out your prospects and moved them into the prospect section, anybody that's over the age of 30, okay? If you miss anybody, move them over, okay? Obviously, like your high school math teacher probably is not interested in a student job here, okay? I think they already are employed. I don't know, that's just my guess, okay? So move them over, okay? They probably already have a job, okay? And anybody that is not, how do I explain this? Okay, I know there are some 17-year-olds here. You're 17 and graduated. Okay, if they're not 17 and graduated or 18 and they're in high school, that's fine. Okay, but if they're not 17 and graduated, we can't work with them. Okay, so anybody under 17, just remove those people. We can't work with them. Okay, so anybody in the 17 to 29 range, okay, you guys can leave them selected. Okay, even if you think they wouldn't be interested, even if you haven't talked to them in 10 years. Okay, you want to hear the funniest thing? Okay. Is Allie recommended Katie, and the way she even recommended I remember going through the list with her because I always just like to double clean it just to make sure didn't miss anybody. And I asked her, and she's going through, and she's like, "Oh, Katie." She's like, "I didn't even know I left her in there." She's like, "I haven't talked to her since middle school." I was like, "She was really nice in middle school. I'm sure she's still nice now." And then she just left her on the list. I didn't tell her to. She just did. She was like, "Yeah, who knows?" Okay. And Katie ended up coming in for a job. Like I said, sold a good amount of Cutco and helped us build our team to great levels, okay? So that's what I'm saying. Even if you haven't talked to them, even if you think they wouldn't be interested, the thing is we're trying to get the word out to as many people as possible, okay? And also, you have no idea what situation they're in. You have no idea whose mom or dad may have lost their job, who's looking for a new job, who just wants to pick something up for the semester. Maybe they hate what they're doing, or they just want to build their skill set for the future. Okay, maybe their significant other needs a job. You have no idea what their situation is. Okay, worst thing that happens, Jelena, let's say you recommend somebody. They get a text message. They're like, I'm not interested. How long does it take to ignore a text message? A second? 2 seconds. It doesn't take long. And if anybody gets mad at you for recommending them, I think they have more problems going on than you think. Like imagine, Abby, that you recommend somebody to a job and they text you and be like, "Oh, Abby, how dare you think I need a job? Like that's rude, bro. I already have a job. How dare you recommend?" Like that's wild. Like that's wild that somebody be mad at you for recommending them to a job. Okay, they probably have other things going on. I remember even when I first heard about the job, I just said no. I was like, I don't think it'd be a good fit. That was it. Okay? So like I said, it gets you guys extra days, it gets the word out there, and you never know who you could be impacting. Okay? I'm really happy that my friend recommended me, even though I'd heard about the job 2 other times, okay? Because I wouldn't be here running training with you guys right now. Okay? And also, I don't think I would have met a lot of the friends that I have, or my wife, which I know sounds like a stretch, but I actually stayed in Virginia a year longer than I was supposed to because of this job. And that was the same year that I met my wife. Okay? So I would say there's a lot of things that this has really changed the trajectory that my life has been on. Okay? And it's the reason why I say, hey, who knows? Just recommend as many as you can. Shoot for those different levels. Okay? And get yourself some extra days. Okay? So get yourself those extra days. I'm going to give you guys some time. Okay? Like I said, anybody under the age of 17, uncheck them. Anybody that you would do a demo with, like over the age of 30, uncheck them as well. They don't need to be recommended. You're already going to do a demo with them. Okay? But this shouldn't take too long because we've already sorted out most of the context. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying be hasty, but don't be too picky. And I know Tommy hates when I tell this story, but I think of somebody like Tommy. While you guys are doing this, I'll tell you this story, okay? But I think of somebody like Tommy. Okay, Tommy didn't hear about us from a friend. He heard about us from a letter in the mail, okay? And so he comes in to the interview, finishes his job, sells $1,000, okay? And he comes into his first team meeting, and he sees 3 of his friends already at team meeting, and he's like, dude, you guys already work here? And he's all excited. He's like, you guys already work here? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, how'd you guys hear about the job? Did you get a letter too? And they're like, oh, well, no, so-and-so recommended us, okay? And then he's like, oh, well, how'd you hear about the job? And he's like, oh, well, so-and-so recommended me, okay? And so Tommy's sitting here, and he's like, so you recommended him and he recommended you. He's like, did nobody want to recommend me? And he doesn't say it, but that's like what he's thinking. He's like, man, okay, that's cool, whatever, guys. Okay, but my favorite part of the story is that nobody wanted to recommend Tommy for who knows why. Could have been that he had another job, could have been from his background, who knows what it was, okay? But Tommy's the only one here, running the most successful district office in Vegas. For now, okay, running the most successful district office in Vegas, okay? He's literally known as the hype man of our company and is top 3 in our division, All right. But nobody want to recommend him because of any preconceived notions, because they were being picky and judgmental. All right. And he still heard about the job anyway. All right. So that's why I say, when you guys are going through your list, don't be picky, because you could be deselecting a Tommy. Well, worst case scenario is they just say, nah, I'm not interested. Thanks for thinking of me, though. Okay? So, like I said, I'll give you guys a little bit of time, couple minutes here. The only thing that I need from you guys, okay? The only thing that I need from you guys, once you have gone through, skip the special introductions. Like I said, skip special introductions. Let me share my screen. And we just need a screenshot of this page right here. Okay, screenshot this page where it says, thanks, you selected this many people, this percentage of your contacts. All right? So to walk you guys through it one more time, if you open up your Vector Impact app, you're going to click that More button. You're going to click Team Builder. Okay? You're going to read all the things, click Begin. And then, like I said, deselect anybody that's too young or that you would do a demo with. And then I would say just leave as many other people on there. Don't be judgmental. Then you're going to click Submit and fix any names that you have to. And then the last step is just taking a screenshot of that final page. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes here. Like I said, about 5 minutes or so. Shouldn't take you too long. Don't forget to send us that screenshot so we know how many Daves to give you, and I'll put some music on. Go ahead and continue on. Okay, so let me text you your 3 days. 3 days, so that I can remember. Perfect. So last thing that I want to do before we take a break is I just want to take a minute and I want to thank you guys. Okay, the first reason I always like to thank you guys is for helping us build our teams, because honestly, the bigger and badder and stronger organizations are, the more fun it is to work here. And we want to create the preeminent employment opportunity for people in the Las Vegas area. So I just want to say thank you guys for helping build our teams. But beyond that, I want to thank you guys for possibly changing somebody's life, because I know when I started the job, I was probably the shyest person ever. I couldn't have gone up to someone to start a conversation with them. The only way I made friends is if people talked to me first. I refused to make phone calls for literally anything. Doctor, dentist, pizza. When I first moved out, I actually went without my inhaler for 2 years because I refused to call the doctor. And I already told you guys, I cried on my first appointment because of how nervous I was. And so this job 100% changed the trajectory of my life. It changed who I was going to be. And I 100%, like I said, believe it's the reason that I met the most amazing woman that I've married to now. And even some of the closest friends that I have. And I really reward this job for kicking me out of my shell. And, you know, really, like I said, just adapting who I was going to surround myself with. Okay? A lot of the people that I've built connections with and friendships with are definitely going to be friends for life. And it's one of the things that I love the most. Even one of my closest friends, you know, I just flew out to her wedding in Virginia, because that's where we first met as district managers out there. And so, you know, my circles of influence have completely been shaped by this job. And so I know it can be cheesy, heavy, whatever you want to call it, for training. Okay? But I really just want to tell you guys that I appreciate you being willing to also change somebody's life, because at the end of the day, that is why we do what we do. Okay, so those are the full things. Since I know you guys are also emotionally distraught, okay, you clearly have to go, you know, console yourselves. I can tell Abby is holding back tears. So we're going to give you guys a 15-minute break, okay? It is 12:28, okay? Do you want to just give the full...
45.
Yeah, 45. Awesome. Okay, so 12:45, we will come back. I don't have anything fun for you guys to bring back to me, so, I don't know, Tommy, anything? No.
Bring back something cool.
Cool.
Bring back something like when you look at it, you can have a cool conversation about it. You're like, hey, this is cool. This is a cool thing.
I like it. That's a good one. Cool. 12:45. We'll be back. Let us know if you need anything. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
All right. Welcome back. We weren't talking for the past 5 minutes or anything. Thank you guys for showing me your cool items. I appreciate it. Some really cool stuff there. And Nana, I won't hold it against you that you didn't show me a cool item today. All right. Next time, though. Next time, Just find something semi less cool, right? So what we have left to do now is we're going to talk about dropping down. Before we do that, I'm going to talk to you guys. So let me go in order. We're going to talk about how to sell the two larger sets that we make, the family set and the complete set. In the catalog, they're called the signature and the ultimate set, right? So we're going to talk about how to sell those sets. Then I'm going to show you guys how to drop down, show the galley set, the starter sets, and the individual piece specials. We're going to talk about gifts and accessories and everything else that Cutco has to offer. We're also going to talk briefly about how to sell to Cutco owners. Christina will talk you guys how to write up an order. You guys will set up your accounts during that time, your rep portals. And that's where you'll sign up for direct deposit and stuff like that. She'll talk you guys through how to ask for introductions to new prospects on each appointment. And then we'll wrap up with some communication guidelines, and then we'll be all done. All right. So it's gonna be a power-packed hour and a half left that we have here. All right, hour 40 minutes. So let's roll. All right, everybody pull up your manual for me. Pull up your manual. You're gonna want to scroll down to page 9. Pull up the manual, scroll down to page 9. Pull up the manual, scroll to page 9. Pull up the manual, scroll to page 9. While you're doing that, I'm gonna pull up the manual and scroll to page 9. All right. It's funny because I hear my girlfriend like blasting Modern Family in the other room right now, and it's hilarious. Pretty good show. Very cringy, but it's a good show. Good show. It's super cringy. All right. It has some good moments, but it also has some absolute cringe moments.
The show came out in like the early 2000s, so give it some slack.
That's why it's cringe. All right. So we went through all this. Now we're at page 9. So you guys remember, what do you click on to get the pricing? You click on what? Show me with your fingers. What do you click on? Page 9. Click on page 9. All right. So you click on page 9, takes you to the new screen. And remember, like, if you want to, Abby, you can click here. You can skip ahead to where we're at, right? So this is where we finished off yesterday. This is where we asked for the order on the homemaker set. We talked about how to handle knee-jerk reactions. So let's talk about really quick, when the customer says yes, you're going to say, congrats, you're going to love your Cutco. While I write that up, let's look at accessories. But before you do that, before you go to gifts and accessories, you want to ask this question. By the way, do you guys ever entertain or host family occasions? The customer says yes. Okay, I'm going to show you our two larger sets too, just so you see the other options. So there's 4 types of customers that buy these sets. The first type of customer is has a big family, cooks a lot. Or like any family that cooks together, mom and dad cooks together, grandma's in there helping. They naturally need more knives because more people are in the kitchen. Second type of person who buys these sets is the person who has to have the biggest and best of everything. Does anyone know somebody like that? They're like, hey, what's the best one you got? I want to get that one. It's just like a principle they have. Great. So they'll buy it just because of that, right? Third type of person who buys these sets is a customer who entertains. Why do you think they entertain? They like to show off, right? Does anybody know someone, anytime you're at their house, they're bragging about new work that they got done at the house or some new thing that they did? Great. So those people will buy it and they'll be bragging about Cutco. The last type of person is probably the most surprising one. And it's generally people that you know and feel comfortable with, right? They're like your first appointments, aunts and uncles, grandma, grandpa, mom and dad, people like that. Because these are your biggest supporters. They want to help you and they want to see you succeed. Feel good about it because they're going to feel good about it too. Think about how good it's going to make them feel to not only help you towards your goals, but also get a product that they're going to use every single day forever and never have to replace. Like, think about it. Everybody wants to buy the biggest set of Cutco because I don't know if you guys realize this, but it's Cutco. It's the greatest product in the history of the universe. But because you're selling it, they might actually get it, right? Now, am I saying that people are going to spend $1,400 plus just because they like you? Hell no. Nobody's spending that amount of money because you're nice. It's not Girl Scout cookies, right? It's quality cutlery, right? But will they use you as an excuse? 110% absolutely, right? So I let my customers use me as an excuse all the time, right? They're like, Tommy, I'm only getting this because you're working really hard towards your goals. And I'll be like, hey, I can appreciate that. Thanks so much. Because are they actually getting it just because of my goals? No, they like the product. They're going to use it every day. And 50 plus years from now, are they going to remember my name? Heck no, right? They're going to be like, some kid came over, did an appointment. I was on a Google Meets call with some kid. They did an appointment with me. I bought the set and I loved it since, right? So that being said, remember your customer wins long-term in that scenario. And if like mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles want to get it, we're going to hook them up with a really great deal. But make sure you call us so we can hook them up with a really great deal, right? If you don't want to give them a deal, like Sam, just write up the order. We're totally cool with that too if you want to do that. But if they want to get it, like let's try and hook them up with some freebies or something, okay? At least. And so the way you show it, the easiest way to do this is to call your manager. Call your manager, right? I'm going to talk you guys through what you would want to say, like general. I'm going to keep it really simple. So if you want to take good notes during this time, I recommend it. It's going to be very brief, but can you guys also just like put us on speaker and have us talk to the customer for you about this? Oh yeah, right. By the way, like if we're on speaker, who do you think should know is on speaker? Like we should know we're on speaker, right? Like Abby, don't just put me on speaker. Like let me know, hey, I'm going to put you on speaker so my customer can hear you, okay? Because I talk to you guys very directly, very like this, but do you think I talk to customers like this? No, I have my Mrs. Jones voice. We're like, oh my gosh, hi Abby's mom, how are you, right? And I put on my customer service voice. So that being said, make sure that I know if I'm on the phone or not, so I know how to tailor my conversation, okay? So that being said, the way to show the family set, so the family set is the basic set plus our 4 most popular customer recommended pieces. The family set plus our 4 most popular customer recommended pieces. The Holy knife, right? The sticky starchy wet food knife, the cheese knife. The Petite Santoku, which is a great mini chopper. The Hearty Slicer, which is a good barbecue knife and like heavy duty stuff like squash and ribs and whatever. And the shears come included with the set, so we just give them something else for free. It also comes with 10 table knives or 10 of the steakhouse style steak knives because they fit in this block. Is this a pretty sexy set? Heck yeah, I love this one. That is one of my favorites. The complete set, this is kind of like the full toolbox. Does anybody's dad have a big old toolbox full of a bunch of different wrenches, screwdrivers? Does he use every single one every day? Heck no, but when he needs that one specific size, he's really glad he has it. Same thing with the complete set. They're not going to use every tool every day. In fact, if they're using a cleaver every day, like they're probably using it wrong, right? But when they need it, it's good to have it. And that's why a lot of customers like the complete set. It includes all of the customer recommended pieces. So that's how I'd say like, hey, this includes the basic set plus all of our customer recommended pieces. So it includes like everything in the family set, plus the cleaver, a heavy duty chopping knife, salmon knife, petite slicer, raw meat knife, and a larger paring knife. Now, by the way, if you're like Tommy, I'm not going to remember any of that. That's fine. Most of the biggest reason people buy these 2 sets has nothing to do with like exactly what every single knife is used for. Most of the time, it's one of the other reasons that we mentioned earlier, right? They cook a lot, so they naturally want more knives, right? They entertain. They just want the biggest and best of whatever it is, or they want to support you, right? And they like the bigger sets, okay? So again, get us on the phone so you can talk your customers through. Remember, you only show it after they say yes to the homemaker. So let's continue on here. Now, if they say no, remember, you're going to say, no problem. If you don't mind me asking, what is it about the homemaker you're unsure of? Right. And then my auntie Nana is going to be like, hey, it's too much money. I'm going to say, I completely understand. $1,419 is a lot all at once. That's why most of our customers split it up over 5 months interest free. It'll only be $284 plus tax per month. How does that sound? And I nod and smile. Right. And then auntie Nana is going to be like, totally get that. But like the $284 is still a little bit much per month. I'm going to say, hey, no problem. Let's skip to the next set, which is our Galley plus 6. It's one of our most popular options. Right. And then I go down to the Galley plus 6 set. Remember, you have to skip these 2 slides here because we're at the homemaker plus 8 when you're dropping down. You can also just click here, click Galley set, and it goes straight to it rather than having to go through those 2 slides. All right. So next is our Galley set. It's perfect starter set, and it'll take care of all your needs. As you can see, it's the paring knife for tools in the air, trimmer for small stuff, spatula for sandwiches, a meat knife, a serving piece, a veggie chopper, and a bread knife. And it still comes with 6 table knives. It's a few less knives for a lot less money. Instead of paying $14.19 for the homemaker set, the Galley plus 6 set is only $10.24 or $205 plus tax per month for 5 months, interest free. You guys see it says write down prices. So again, reminder, like Abby, what do? You type it out or you copy paste. All right. So in this scenario, I'm going to copy paste. With the smaller ones, you guys will see that I'm going to type it out. Okay. But again, you want to make sure that you have the pricing in the chat because all customers are visual and it helps you close more sales. Now, if you get this set today, I can still include the kitchen tools, entertainer pack, or super shears for free. Is that something you'd like to get today? And you nod and smile, right? And when they say yes, you're going to say, congratulations, you're going to love your Cutco. While I write that up, let's look at accessories. If they're unsure, if they're on the edge a little bit, hey, if it makes a difference, we can do something else for free instead. You can swap it out for a barbecue set or whatever it is. Basically, just call your manager for this so we can like give them other options. But you can also just call us for a friends and family discount. I want to let you guys know that we have friends and family discounts on the Homemaker set, the Galley set, and most of the starter sets. So these are the pre-made block or tray sets. So we have a friends and family discount on almost all of the sets, okay? And the reason you would call us for those is if the customer really likes the set, but price is the only issue, right? If they're like, hey, I really like the Homemaker, it's just a little bit out of budget, Sam be like, hey, just for fun, I'm gonna call my manager and see what we can do, right? And you get me on the phone and we'll talk, or you get Christine on the phone and we'll talk you guys through what the friends and family discount looks like, all right? Now, by the way, do you guys want to ask permission to the customer to call us? No, because what are they going to say every time? Oh, you don't need to bother them. Are you bothering us, by the way? Heck no. I want you to blow up my phone as much as you possibly can, right? So that being said, just let them know, hey, I'm going to call my manager. And if they still say, no, I don't want you to bother them, be like, well, they told me to. And then put her on mute and get me on the phone, right? You can also just say, well, just for fun, let's see what they say, right? Those 3 words get Mrs. Jones in a lot of trouble, but it's good for her, right? Just for fun, let's see what they would say. All right. Now, if they still say no to the Galley set, sometimes customers at this point, like Abby, if they haven't asked already, they'll ask, can I just buy individual pieces? Because I don't think I've used the full set, but there's a couple pieces I really like. You're going to say, of course. However, our sets are discounted, they're safer, and you get free stuff. If you don't mind, I'll show you our sets. And if none of them appeal to you, we can pick out whatever pieces you want. Okay? And then we keep it rolling. Now we're at the starter sets. And you guys know, did you guys notice that the way we asked for the order changed? Like, did you notice the verbiage changed a little bit? You guys are going to notice that throughout the demo, every time we ask for the order, the verbiage of how we ask for the order changes slightly. Because do you think after 70 years of being in business, billions of dollars worth of sales and millions of dollars to spend in marketing research, do you think we eventually figured out that a customer psychology changes throughout the appointment? Heck yeah. So do you think we tailored the verbiage to handle that accordingly? Of course, right? So that being said, main reason I'm bringing this up is just to emphasize follow the manual. When you follow the manual, it does all that work for you, okay? All right, now we're at the starter set. So these next 2 slides show the starter sets. These are great for building up over time and as gifts for family and friends. Christine, I'm gonna have Yasmin call you. All right. So these are great for building up over time and as gifts for family and friends. The first is our essentials +5. This one comes with just the very basics: paring knife, a spatula spreader, turning fork, petite carver, and chef knife. Next is our Studio +4. This is our smallest block set, but still comes with 4 great pieces: paring knife, trimmer, spatula spreader, petite carver. After that, we have our Gourmet set. This set has 5 of our specialty knives, a cleaver, Santoku knife, and a Hardy slicer, as well as a wide blade vegetable knife and a boning knife. This set is also great for customers who want to upgrade their current Cutco set and put this block right next to their current block. Then you click next slide. Now we have the Space Saver. This is our Space Saver set, which comes with 5 pieces: the chef knife, petite carver, trimmer, and 2 different size paring knives. And it comes in a unique block that can lean on the counter or be hung on the wall. Lastly are our all knife and kitchenette sets. These tray sets are great for people who want to keep their knives stored in a drawer. The all knife set comes with the paring knife, trimmer, spatula spreader, chef knife, and a carving knife. The kitchenette set comes with the paring knife, trimmer, turning fork, petite carver, and a bread knife. And then we ask, would you rather have your set in a block or tray? And then we say, okay, great. So out of these starter sets, which combination do you like the best? And then we present the price of just their favorite starter set. So the reason we do this is because the other options of showing these would be like, can you guys imagine going through all the pricing of all of those sets all at once? Like, that'd be pretty overwhelming, right? Because you're like, hey, here's this price and this price. Do you guys think the customers might get confused with all those numbers too? 100%. Do you guys think confused customers buy a lot of Cutco? Yes or no? The answer is hell no. They don't buy any Cutco, right? So we want to keep it simple, clear, and concise for the customer. But we also don't want to like, can you imagine 6 different drop-down steps on top of that? Like that's a lot to show, right? Like, hey, here's this one, yes or no. Here's this one, yes or no. Here's this one, yes or no, right? That's a lot. So that's why we present them all at once, because they're all around the same target price range, but we want them to pick their favorite combo. We have them choose between block or tray. That's a yes or yes question. And then if they say block, we show them the block slide, have them pick their favorite. If they say tray, we show them the tray slide, have them pick their favorite. So we want to keep it really, really simple to the customer and give them no more than 2 or 3 options, because any more than that, the customer can feel overwhelmed. Everybody got it? Great. And again, this is all just what? It's in the manual. If you just follow it, it'll show it. So let's say my Auntie Nana is like, hey, I really like that essentials plus 5 set, right? So I really like the block sets. I'd probably go with the essentials plus 5, right? So then I'm going to scroll down here and you guys are going to see the set prices reference guide. If for whatever reason you don't see this, it means you didn't click on page 9 yet. Okay. And so you're going to say, hey, that set is only, $7.99 in full or $160 per month plus tax for 5 months. Time out really quick. Remember, you need to what? You need to type in the chat what the customer likes, right? So in this scenario, I'm going to type essentials. We'll spell it essentials with a Z. That'd have been cool. Essentials plus 5, $7.99, $160 on the 5 pay, right? And it's okay to wait to say the price and like pause for a minute so you can type it in the chat, right? Let the price sit in the customer's head a bit. And then you say, if you get this set today, you can still have the super shears for free. Is that something you'd be interested in getting today? And what do? You nod and smile, right? And then when they say yes, you're going to say, congratulations, you're going to love Cutco. While I write that up, let's look at accessories. If they say no, if they're still unsure, hey, no problem. You can even customize your own set. And even with a custom set, you can break it up over a few months. Let me show you how it works. Now, really quick pause. Everybody look up here. You guys see where it says may substitute free item for item of equal value, call manager for family specials or help. So remember, you can call us for the friends and family discount. But also when it comes to the starter sets, let's say the customer really likes the set, but there's just one knife that they don't like that they'd want to swap for something else. Do you think that's worth giving us a call for? Heck yeah, right? For sure. Because there's ways that we can swap them out, or like not if they like the butcher knife and they want the essentials plus 5, we'll just give them the butcher knife for free instead of the shears. Right? So we can swap it out for free stuff. But again, every customer is going to be different. So that means you just what? You just call us so we can talk you through the different scenarios and eventually you get the general pattern of what to do and how to do it. All right. Now, really quick, before we get to P specials, you guys notice that we have different easy pay options. So this is like different ways the customers can split up their order into payments. So they could pay it in full, which they could spend any amount and pay it in full. If they want to split it up for up to 2 months, they have to spend at least $70. If they spend less than $70, they can only pay in full. Does that like logically make sense, guys? Yeah, right? Like, can you imagine splitting up a $45 table knife over 5 months? That's ridiculous, right? They have to spend at least $200 to split it up over 3 months. They have to spend at least $400 to split it up over 5 months. And Christina will talk more about that later when we go over writing up orders, okay? And now we're at the point where we have them customize their own set. So I'm gonna say, hey, Auntie Abby, you can customize your own set and I can still get you something for free. Let's make a list of your 5 favorite pieces you see yourself using the most. You have them write down their 5 favorite pieces, and then you're gonna say, great, can you give me 1 minute to work on those prices? And then you put them on mute. I'm going to show you guys how you would add it to cart. Christina's going to show you how to like write up the order and stuff. So you'll get a general idea of how to do this. But I also understand like you guys have learned a lot over the past 3 days and there's a lot of information in your head. I don't want to add like navigating through an app and math on top of that. Okay. So when you get to the P specials, if you're confident in doing it yourself, for sure, do it yourself. But I'm going to ask like for your first appointments, at least till advanced training, call us at the P specials. Call us at the P specials so we can 1, verify the price if you already have it, or 2, do it for you. So it makes it really, really easy. Okay. You guys will see what I mean here in a second. So let's say my customers pick out their 5 favorite pieces, right? So the way this works is, so the customer will pick it from this list. Now, if a customer says steak knives, do you think a customer only wants one steak knife? I've never had a customer that's like, yeah, my family of 4 can live on one steak knife, right? So if they say steak knives or table knives, ask how many. How many would be good? They'll say 4, 6, 8, or 12. We'll have to give them a bit of a custom deal on that. But this is what the order site looks like, right? And Christina will talk you through this here in a minute. But let's say the customer is picking their 5 favorite pieces, and they pick like the spatula spreader, they pick the petite santoku, they pick all these fun knives. You can just type them into the search bar here and add them to the cart. So I'm gonna pretend I'm the customer right now, right? Let's say, or I'm talking to my Auntie Jelena, and these are the pieces that Auntie Jelena is picking for me, right? So I'm taking note of it. I'm writing this down in my notebook, right? Or if you guys want to do it directly in the app, you can. Let's say she also really like that butcher knife, because that's a pretty cool thing there. She really like that cheese knife. That thing's really neat. And to complete the set, let's just add a paring knife, right? And you guys can see I can add it to cart here. I can also click on this. It takes me to a new page. I can change the color of it. Oops. I can update it, and it updates to pearl. Updates to pearl in the cart, right? I can go back. I can change it back to classic, update, and we're back to here, right? But I have all 5 pieces here in the cart, and you guys will see that it shows the price right here. You can also click on this. It'll show a drop down that'll tell you what the 2 pay, the 3 pay, and the 5 pay would be. Christina will talk more about what this admin fee is, but has anybody like bought something or paid a bill and there's an admin fee for using your debit card or using a credit card? You got into a local grocery store, there's like a $50 charge. That's all this is, right? So it's not $12 every charge. It's $12 total over the 5 months. So it's like $250 per charge. That's it. Okay. Also, your customers aren't going to say no to the deal because of an extra 12 bucks. Okay. If they have questions on it, you can just talk to us. If you have questions on it, we can talk more about it later. Right. But for right now, I just want to show you how this P specials work. So for the pick 5 special, it'd be $5.29. On the 5 pay, it'd be $108. So then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to type in my chat, pick 5, right? And then I'm going to type in. So this, remember, this pricing is going to be different every time, right? So that's what the deal looks like. And you guys can see, like, if you scroll up in the chat, this is what your drop down will look like. And you're going to say, okay, I'm ready with the price for you. I'll jot this down in the chat. The total for your customized set on Jelena is $529, which breaks down to $108 per month on a 5 payment plan. Now, if you get these 5 knives today, I can give you a pair of super shears or 4 table knives for free. Which free option would you prefer? And then Auntie Jelena will say the shears or the table knives. And then I'll say, great, would you like to go ahead and get this custom set today? And I nod and smile, right? And when they say yes, you're going to say, great, you're going to love your Cutco. Let's take a look at the accessories just so you know what else is available to add either for now or in the future. Let me show you the final slideshow. If they say no, you're going to say no problem. You go to the next special. Now, really quick, you guys notice that we asked this question. I can give you a pair of super shears or 4 table knives for free. Which free option would you prefer? It's because the customer said no 3 times at this point. So on a little bit of a negative train. We want to get them out of that and get them focused on positively for Cutco. Like, we want to get them in a positive mindset towards Cutco. So that's why we asked, like, hey, Donna, would you go with table knives or the shears? Because then she's like, well, if I were to get it, I'd probably go with the shears, right? So she's back in the buying mindset of, I want to purchase Cutco. Does this make sense? Okay, keep it rolling. And again, I'm only like saying this stuff, like, Sam, this is not stuff you have to remember. This is just me saying, like, this is why the manual is the way that it is. There's a lot of advanced stuff in here. All you have to do is read it, and you cover all the bases. So if they say no to the pick 5 special, then we go to this one, which is this special is really popular, which is your buy 3, get 1 for free. Out of those 5, which one knife could you live without? So you guys are going to be my customers here in this scenario. Out of my 5 knives here, what is your least favorite one? Pick your least favorite knife out of these 5. Whatever I see first in the chat is what I'm gonna take off. So whoever types first is what I'm gonna take off. Whatever your least favorite. Paring knife is done. Nana, thank you. So I take off the paring knife. I can just delete it that way. Now with a buy 3, get 1 free, which one do you think comes for free? Probably this one, right? So I'm gonna bonus that one. And you guys noticed, so you remember that the customer has to spend at least $400 to do it on the 5 pay, right? So do you think sometimes if we're on the phone, we can kind of do a custom deal and have the customer add something, and then maybe give them something for free for doing that, so that we can get over that $400 mark, but get you a larger order. Because look, this would be 84 on the 5Pay versus before it was going to be 127 on the 3Pay. Which one do you think customers are more open to? Probably this one, right? Probably the 84 and the 5Pay. So that being said, like this is very much like, this is an on the call, like calling an audible on the fly. So who do you think should be on the phone for this part? Like make sure you're calling your manager so we can talk the customer through it and make sure we can help you with the specials to make it make sense for them to get it today, right? So that being said, like we're not always going to add the large cutting board and the knife and fork tray. I'm just showing you this like, hey, this is an example of an audible that we could call. So the buy 3 get 1 free would be 412. It'd be 85 on the 5Pay. I'm just rounding up there, right? So in the chat, I'm going to type buy 3 get 1 free. Would be 412. On the 5Pay, it'd be 85, right? So I type that in the chat. And then it says, okay, give me one more. Again, it says, give me 1 minute to calculate that new price. That gives you an opportunity to just call us. You're going to say, all right, Uncle Sam, for the spatula spreader, petite santoku, butcher knife, and cheese knife, that's only $412 in full, or $85 per month for 5 months. Does that sound better for you? And you nod and smile. When they say yes, great, you're going to love those pieces. Let's take a look at the accessories just so you know what else is available to add either for now or in the future. Let me show you the final slideshow. If they say no, hey, no problem, Uncle Sam. Which are your 2 favorites? Okay, give me 1 minute so I can show you our last special. So join me in the chat box one more time. What is your favorite knife out of these 4, right? The first 2 I see are what I'm going to pick. What is your favorite knife out of these 4? I saw 2 cheese knives, so of course we're taking the cheese. I need 1 more. Spatula. All right. So I'm gonna take off this guy, take off this guy, and we're looking at 179. Again, this is another scenario where if the customer just spends an extra $21, so let's say they add a cutting board that's going to protect their current knives. Let's do a small one because it's the least expensive. Now they can split it up over 3 months, right? Rather than having to do half today, pay the other half next month for 91, right? So again, make sure we're on the phone so we can do custom deals like this, okay? And again, I'm not showing you guys this to like Jelena, I don't expect you to remember any of this. I'm showing you this like, hey, this is why you call us during the appointment, right? Cool. So now we're like, okay, this is the free gadget special. So in the chat, I'll type free gadget. And this is 208, 71 on the 3Pay. Right? So we'll say, okay, for the cheese knife and the spatula spreader, it's only 208 in full or 71 for 3 months. And I can give you the ice cream scoop, veggie peeler, pizza cutter, can opener, wine opener, or cutting board for free. How does that sound? And you nod and smile. And you're going to say, when they say yes, great, you're going to love your Cutco. Let's take a look at the accessories just so you know what else is available to add either for now or in the future. Let me show you the final slideshow. If they say no, you drop down to just buying 1 knife. And you're going to say, hey, Auntie Abby, as long as you get at least something today, my office will allow me to throw in free stuff when you upgrade later. It's called reserving the buy now bonus. And of course, you'd still be helping me toward my goals. So let's see how much your favorite piece would be. What is your #1 favorite piece of Cutco? And on this last side where it says reserve your buy now bonus, it includes all the gadgets and a lot of other accessories. So if the customer wants to start off with something else, they can as well, right? And whatever they pick, let's say they pick the, I'll go with the spatula spreader because it's the least expensive thing that we have on here. It's $80. On the 2Pay, it'd be 41, right? And so in the chat, I'll type in spatula, like whatever the name of the knife is. So in this scenario, spatula spreader, 81, or it's 80, I'm sorry. 41 on the 2Pay. Just like that. So that is only 80, which is only 41 per month on a 2Pay plan, which breaks down to basically $1.50 a day. You can try it out for 2 weeks, and if you like it, you keep it. If not, we'll just return it full refund, but I'm sure you'll love it. Would you like to get that piece today? And you nod and Smile, right? And by the way, do you guys think there's like custom manager specials that we could do on just one knife? For sure. We can throw in like, sometimes we could throw in a little bit of a freebie. Okay. We cannot discount individual knives. I'll say that again. We cannot discount individual knives, but sometimes just to give them like an extra incentive to get it today, we can hook them up with like free sheath, maybe a cutting board. It just depends on what the deal's looking like. Okay. When they say yes, you're going to say, awesome, you'll love that piece. I want to show you the accessories just so you know what else is available to add in the future. I'd hate for you to find out later that I didn't show you everything that was available and I missed something you'd have loved. Let me show you the final slideshow. If they still say no at this point, just say, hey, Auntie Nana, thanks so much for letting me go through all the options with you. I want to show you the accessories. You just read that again, right? Because just because they said no to the knives doesn't mean they're not getting anything, right? Sometimes I've had customers said no to the knives and they get flatware or they get cookware or whatever it is, but you still want to show the customers all the options. Worst case scenario, it plants seeds for the future. So if they do end up purchasing from you, they know that we sell cookware and flatware and all these other things. Now, the farther you drop down, do you guys think you want to be less excited the farther you drop down or more excited? You might want to be way more excited, right? Because the farther you drop down, the more likely the customer is to say yes. Because our average order size, that means the average a customer spends with us is about $400. So the closer you get to that number, the more likely the customer is to say what? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it, right? And the farther down you drop below that number, like your chances of getting a sale skyrocket. So that's why we say show every customer, every option, every time. Show every customer, every option, every time. Because you never know when they're going to say yes. Now, let me clarify this really quick. Like, Abby, if a customer says yes to the Homemaker +8, do you need to go through the starter sets and the piece specials with them? Nah, just close the Homemaker, right? And go to gifts and accessories for sure, right? But if they haven't said yes yet, show every customer, every option, every time. That's just good customer service. Would you guys agree? Yeah, showing them all the options. And whether they buy one piece or whether they buy a full set, who wins? Do you guys win or does the customer win? Which one do you think? Point in which direction? Do you win or does the customer win? The customer wins all day, right? Because whatever commissions you make, like Sam, you might make 100, 150 bucks on your first Homemaker sale. And you might think like, hey, I'm super pumped about that. But long-term, who actually won? Customer did, right? Because I guarantee you that 150 bucks that you earned on that sale, that's probably spent by the end of the week, right? Like you guys will find a way to spend that money, but how long are they going to have their cut go? 10, 20, 30, 50 plus years. So that's why, like, I never feel bad when a customer, whether they purchase one knife or a full set, or they buy gifts and accessories for everybody and their mother, right? Because I know that they're always going to make out better than I will, right? And in terms of the deal. And Cutco is a great investment. So let's talk about everything else that Cutco has to offer, okay? Now, you guys notice there's a lot of different places where you can click here for gifts and accessories. So you can click here. You can click, like there's somewhere for it every time you ask for the order. You can also just click right up here and it takes you to the gifts and accessories tab. You want to scroll down here to the cookware, flatware, gifts, and accessories slide so you can follow along, all right? And so at the end here, you're going to say, okay, Auntie Nyasha, we're going to start by making your wish list. These aren't necessarily things you are going to buy today, but as your rep will be able to keep track of what you like for future reference. Basically, as we go through here, if Cutco were free, let me know what would you add to your set. Also, of course, the more you buy, the more you save. So don't be afraid of adding something because it may end up coming for free on your order anyway. If we get to a section that you have no interest in at all, just tell me to skip it, no problem. Two things for this. One is this is an opportunity for you to add more stuff onto your order and get a larger sale. Are you guys okay with that? I hope so, right? The second thing this does for you is it plants seeds for future sales. Because if they know we make cookware, flatware, barbecue tools, and all this stuff, like Abby, what do you think they're going to call you for on Christmas break? Hey, I really want to get that barbecue set for my husband, right? Whatever it is. So plant seeds for future sales. So let's check out the first slide to see the table knives. Do you ever host holidays or have company over the house? Pause, wait for a response because it's a question. A lot of customers quickly realize after they get their Cutco that their table knives and steak knives are always in the dishwasher because they're used so often. It's very common for people to add an extra 6, 8, or 12 to their order and keep their extras either in a block, a tray, or just stored in the drawer. That way, when company comes over, you're not having to choose who gets the good knives around the table and who's left with the old ones. I know all of you have probably been in that scenario before, right? Do you think you could use some extra table knives or steak knives? They say yes. If you have them, how many do you think you would use, right? This is important to ask how many would they use? Because I've had customers that say, hey, an extra 4 or 8 would be good. And that's another $200 to $400 on the order. I've also had a customer that said I need an extra 24 table knives. And that was a pretty spicy order as well, right? If they say no, okay, no problem. Let me show you what's next. We have 2 other gadgets I haven't told you about yet, and they're our newest additions to the collection. Our wine opener has a non-stick coating for easy cork removal and a bottle opener on the side. It can stand upright on the counter without rolling or tipping. It's a great gift for somebody that loves wine but would never treat themselves to a high quality opener. The can opener was in development for over a decade because it has moving parts, and all of our products have our forever guarantee. Quick pause. If you guys don't know, it's really difficult to forever guarantee something that has moving parts, right? Continuing, the blade is made with the same metal as our knives, crimps the edge so it's not sharp. That means the can lid is not sharp, so you can rub it against your hand, it won't cut you. And it goes all the way around without skipping with its super smooth wheel action. It also has a strong magnet that picks up the lid after removing it so it doesn't fall into the can. Our gadgets are surprisingly some of the most purchased items we offer because many people have 2 or 3 of most of these and want to just replace them once with Cutco and never have to buy them again. Could you see yourself using any of these if you had them? Would you like to add one to your order? That might not seem like a big deal, but if you have one customer purchase like one of these every time, that's an extra $50 on top of every order. Would you guys be cool with that? Oh yeah, it'd be pretty spicy. Keep rolling. We have a few different style non-stick knives in addition to the one that comes in the entertainer pack, and they all have a micro double D edge. Remember, if it says DD, just say double D. They're great for all different types of cheese, of course, but also for tomatoes, lemons, limes, apples, and cutting raw potatoes for hash browns or homemade French fries. The 4 styles are the soft grip cheese knife. This is the one from the entertainer pack. The traditional cheese knife, which has the same blade, but with the full Tang triple rivet handle to match your knives. Mini cheese knife, which is a smaller version of the traditional one, is great for cheese platters when entertaining guests. The rounded tip is great for spreading soft cheeses like brie. And the Santoku style cheese knife, which is a similar size to the mini cheese knife. The point is great for lifting hard cheeses like cheddar and Gouda. If they want to add one of those on, great, add it to the wish list. If not, move on to the flatware. Good flatware isn't cheap. The reason people buy our flatware is because they'll never have to buy forks and spoons ever again. Everything is guaranteed forever. Cutco's Forever flatware is made of 18/10 high quality stainless steel, so it won't tarnish even in the dishwasher. Cutco doesn't change their design every 2 to 3 years like other flatware companies. So if you lose a couple of pieces, you won't have trouble finding the matching pattern. We use one timeless pattern that never goes out of style. It comes with 12 place settings, including 12 stainless table knives that cut just like steak knives. It's like having steak knives that match your stainless flatware. Each setting comes with 5 pieces, 2 spoons, 2 forks, and a stainless table knife. The 60-piece set includes 12 settings and comes with a cherry wooden chest. That comes with a 35% discount. So the chest is by far our best deal on flatware. Do you like the look of these? If they say yes, just for fun, we could show them what the special would be. And by the way, like let's say like Jelena, your customer's like, I would just want 8 sets. It costs the same to buy 8 sets of the flatware as it does to get the full chest. That's how good of a deal it is. It's insane. Does anybody have a drawer full of old mismatched flatware? Like different like spoons and stuff? So this is designed to replace all that. And we've never changed the design of our flatware. So the customers feel confident purchasing it because they can replace just one spoon if they need to. To complement your night set, we have your kitchen tool set. These are designed and angled for convenience. The handles will resist melting and burning and will not get hot in your hand. These tools will not rust, and they have a lip that prevents them from falling into the pot or pan. The 5-piece kitchen tool set includes the basting spoon, slotted spoon, ladle, slotted turner, and our mixer, which is this guy here, which is the world's coolest whisk because the coils are flexible, so you can turn it into a balloon whisk, use it on the corners of a pan or pot, and it's super easy to clean. Our 6-piece set also comes with a traditional potato masher. The set also fits in a wooden block. If you guys are curious as to what the different colors of the wood block looks like, this is the honey finish. This is the cherry finish. So the customers can pick between one or the other. And it's a cherry stain on the oak. It's not cherry wood. Cutco also makes really good quality cookware. It's American made, has the forever guarantee, and it's the healthiest cookware you can use, which makes it a great investment in your family's health. We also have great package deals with knives and cookware. So if you're looking for the best savings, I can show you what that looks like for the set of knives you like and the cookware combined. Cutco's low moisture cookware is made using 5 layers. The outer layers are high quality stainless steel for easy cleaning, while there are 3 layers of aluminum on the inside for perfect heat distribution. It doesn't have a poor quality nonstick coating, so you don't have to worry about chipping and peeling. And once preheated for 5 to 7 minutes on medium, the cookware is virtually non-stick if used properly, making it easy to cook your food. So let me show you this short video from one of our Cutco sales professionals, Derek. This video here sells the cookware for you, makes it really, really easy. So I'm going to play this full screen. Make sure my sound is on. Bada bing, bada boom. All right.
Hi, I'm Derek Fidel, Cutco sales professional. Here to give you a brief introduction and the features and benefits of Cutco cookware. To talk a little bit about the materials used in Cutco cookware, we actually use a 430 magnetic steel surrounding the pan. This will make it so it's induction stove capable too.
Let me know if it's
On the
through, okay?
inside, we've got 304 surgical grade stainless steel, which is very durable, very easy to clean, and of course is dishwasher safe too. Now, although it is dishwasher safe, we do recommend washing it by hand. On the inside layer, we actually have 3 layers of aluminum. So even the lid has the same construction. So your food will cook from the top down, the sides in, and the bottom up. So it's basically like a mini oven cooking your food. We're cooking it from all sides, so you're not gonna have any cold spots on your pan. Cutco cookware actually conducts heat so well that it's stackable cookware, so you can do multiple layers of cooking
Isn't that
on just
insane?
one burner.
It's so cool.
Now the cool thing with Cutco cookware is it's actually low moisture or waterless cookware. So to reference other cookware, let's say we're boiling broccoli. A lot of times we just do it fully immersed in water, and by the end of it, all the water's green, which unfortunately that's about 80% of the nutrients in the broccoli, and it's a lot of the flavor too. Now with Cutco cookware, the cool thing is all we need is a little bit of water. So here, if we just put a little bit of water in the pan, and then we're gonna splash it around to get the whole thing coated on the inside. Now we're gonna spin the lid, and you guys can see that the lid is spinning very freely, okay? Almost frictionless. And what that is gonna do is that's gonna tell us that a vapor seal has formed. Now I'm yanking on the lid here just to show you that it's got the suction there. And that suction is going to trap all of the flavor and all of the water and all the nutrients right inside the pan. Now, like I was mentioning earlier, we've got the 5-ply construction, so the lid is going to be nearly as hot as the bottom in just a couple minutes of being on the stove. So we're cooking food evenly from all sides. Kind of like the same concept of boiling, but without the water, because the water is extracting all the nutrients. So our food is going to keep all the nutrients and all the flavor right inside. Like all Cutco products, Cutco cookware is backed by the Forever Guarantee, so it's fixed or replaced for free forever. Not just your lifetime, but this is a legacy cookware set you'll be able to pass down from generation to generation.
Woo! You guys see how that basically does like most of your work for you? It's pretty spicy cookware. I love it, right? So then when you click to the next slide, you'll say these next 3 slides show our 3 cookware sets and packages: complete, family, and basic. So large, medium, and small. So this is the complete. You can add those 3 on. This is the family. This is the basic. If you were to choose a set of cookware, would you do the complete, family, or basic? Sometimes they'll be like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, I wouldn't want to do it. Hey, no worries. They say yes. Okay, which one? They pick the basic set. Cool. If we have a bonus where if you get the low moisture cookware today, you can also get a matching 5-piece kitchen tool set for free. You can ask, would you like to try out the low moisture cookware today? Call us for a deal on it so we can make sure that we're hooking them up with the best value possible. All right. Well, I'm going to skip to the next slide now. So over the years, the company started selling more and more package deals with knives and cookware together with big discounts. So if you're interested in both a set of knives and a set of cookware, how it works is you just pick small, medium, large knives and then small, medium, large cookware. And then based on what combo you want, we can throw in a bunch of free stuff. Are you interested in seeing what that might look like? The reason you ask this is not because you guys are going to get a lot of no's with Cutco. I think that's important to realize. The whole goal of this is like Sam, you're going to get a bunch of no's. Right? You're going to get a lot of people like, no, I wouldn't be looking at this. I wouldn't be looking at this. But you're not asking for every single person that says no. You're asking for that one person that says yes. Because that one person that says yes to a Cutco kitchen, that's a $4,000 order. Right? If they add flatware, $6,000 order. Would you guys be okay with that? Like, yeah, even if 1 in every 100 customers said that, you still want to show every single customer because you never know who that one would be. Make sense? I know some of you are like, Tommy, that's a lot. That's a lot that somebody would spend. But like, hey, if you don't ask, the answer is always what? If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So you might as well ask and figure out exactly what it would be. All right, now you've seen what the Double D Edge does on leather. Just imagine what it does for a hunter. We have some really great hunting and sporting knives, and the prices on these are lower than you'd probably expect for super high-end hunting knives. Cutco also owns K-Bar, which are the knives the United States Army and Marine Corps use. We have 2 K-Bar knives that I'm allowed to sell as a Cutco rep. If any of these catch your eye, I can read you the details on them. If you click the next slide, there's a video for our Fisherman solution. This is the #1 rated fishing knife by the Alaskan Association of Fishermen. I'm going to skip this video for now, but if you have customers that do a lot of fishing and hunting, it's a great piece to show them. Sometimes it's a little glitchy between slide 15 and 16, so you have to skip next a couple of times for it to go. So now we're on the garden tools. These are the only garden tools on the market that are guaranteed forever. They're rated by the home and garden industry as the #1 most trusted garden tools. Holds 300 pounds of torque pressure without bending or breaking. Yellow makes them easy to find in messy soil or in the dark. Steel goes all the way to the bottoms of the handles. You can drive over them with a car and they won't break. Not recommended for the car, of course. Make sure you smile so they know you're joking. The cultivator is sturdy enough for dry, hard, caked, rocky ground. The trowels for garden and transplanting, these 2 here. They have a measuring stick on the scoop. It's ingrained into the scoop. It's not painted on, it's embedded into the scoop. So you can measure how far you're planting. They're great for planting flowers and installing birdhouses and sprinkler heads. They won't rust or pit even if left out overnight. The weeder is excellent at getting to the roots. Metal goes all the way down through the handle, so it's nearly impossible to bend. And the bypass pruners, these will snip flowers, trim shrubs, and prune branches with ease. They have a sure grip handle that reduces hand fatigue, and the blades lock for safety. Now the barbecue set, these tools are 18 inches long, so you can stand further back from the flames. Has anybody gotten that scare where it feels like almost like the tips of the hair got singed off a little bit? So these are super long, so that won't happen. I joke with my customers, like they're so long, you could steal your neighbor's food with them if you wanted to, honestly. But this set has 2 options. Our basic set comes with a spatula, fork, and tongs. And we also have a 4-piece set that includes our barbecue knife, the Hardy Slicer. This knife is great for ribs, tri-tip, brisket, chicken, pork tenderloin, carne asada, and cutting through tough vegetables like corn on the cob. These tools won't rust or corrode even if you leave them outside by accident and are dishwasher safe. Most people buy a cheap barbecue set every few years. Might as well get a good set once that's guaranteed forever. What do you think? Most customers are pretty open to that idea, and it's an easy add-on. These next 2 slides are our gift sets. These make great birthday, wedding, or appreciation gifts for all occasions. Do you have anything coming up in the next few months you'll need to get a gift for? They say yes, that's a couple $100 added on to every order, right? We also have an engraving department that does all kinds of personalizations as well as business and corporate gifts. Lots of companies give a gift basket of something that will be gone in a week or 2. Cutco is something they'll use every day forever, and they'll be staring at your company's name or logo every time they use it. No better way to stay on top of mind. We also have volume pricing discounts too if someone wants to place a larger order. Do you know anyone who owns a business or ever does client appreciation gifts? Again, this is something that you'll get a lot of no's to, but you're not asking it for all the no's. You're asking for that one person that says what? That one person that says yes, because that one person that owns a business says yes is anywhere between a $500 order to a $10,000 order. I had a customer that bought $7,000 worth of business gifts from me because I asked him, like, what do you do? Right. And he showed me, and he was like, this is how many gifts you can get. This is the deal we can do for 50 gifts, but I can give you a better deal on 100 gifts. And he's like, how many would what would that look like for the 100 gifts? And ended up being a $7,000 order. And I don't say that to impress you guys, but to impress upon you, like, hey, this is why you ask everybody, because you never know. And by the way, the person that bought it wasn't even a business owner. He did gift baskets with his church, and they did little auctions on the gift baskets, and he always did Cutco with them. And that's why he bought $7,000 worth of Cutco, right? So it doesn't hurt to ask. Now, if you guys, like, let's say Abby, you call me and the customer really wants the spatula spreader, and I say, hey, just as a thank you for her ordering from you today, we're going to give her a free sheath. This is what I mean, is these plastic sheets. So the company heard that a lot of customers didn't want to be without their knives when they went camping, tailgating, boating, or on the road. So they came out with these hard plastic sheets to stay safe and also to keep the knives from getting scratched up when you take them on the road. After this, these are our partner products. These are not Cutco. I'm going to say this again. These are not Cutco. These are partnership products that are really high quality that complement Cutco. So the first is the wellness mats. By the way, we also sell the thickest mats on the market. Wellness mats are #1 chiropractor recommended, made in America, and have a 20-year warranty, which is insane for kitchen mats. They're sealed on top and bottom, so if you spill anything on them, they're easy to clean up with a mop, vacuum, broom, or paper towel. They also have a beveled edge, so your foot glides up with the side, whereas most mats roll up on the ends and crease in the middle, becoming tripping hazards in the kitchen. Customers love them to use in front of the sink, the stove, wherever they do most of their meal prepping, at standing desks. and even a workout at home. They come in 3 foot by 2 foot and 6 foot by 2 foot sizes. I have 2 of these in my kitchen, and I use one of them every time we go to an event. We also have organic. If you want, you can play the video on the wellness mats, but I'm going to skip to the coffee for time's sake. We also have organic fair trade coffee from all around the world. You can select whole bean or ground, and there are 4 different roasts: dark, medium, light, and decaf. Are you a coffee drinker? They say yes. You can play the video. Did you want to add a bag to your order today? They say no. Do you have anyone in mind that would love to try this out? Again, getting towards that intros part, right? But with the coffee, who here drinks coffee or has drunk coffee before? Does anyone notice that there's a bitter aftertaste when you drink coffee? You have that coffee aftertaste. So just so you guys know, that's not supposed to happen. The reason that it has a bitter aftertaste is because most coffee has been sitting on a shelf for anywhere between 1 to 2 years. Even the freshest coffee at Starbucks has been sitting on a shelf for 3 to 6 months. What's cool about it, and that's why it has the bitter aftertaste. What's cool about Utopian coffee is, first of all, it's organic trade certified and all that. And what happens is you order a bag. It's about $17 for a bag, for a 12-ounce bag. So it is high quality gourmet coffee. What happens, like let's say my auntie Jelena orders some coffee from me. They small batch roast it, whether you want medium, dark, or light, the same day. And they ship it to you immediately. You get your coffee within 2 to 3 days of it being roasted. It is the absolute freshest coffee that you can get on the market. And it also doesn't have that weird coffee aftertaste because it's so fresh. It's really, really interesting. And it's part of the reason why I love it so much, right? Now, after this, you would ask for intros, right? While you're writing up the order, Christine will talk about that. Now, really quick, I want to talk about how to sell to Cutco owners. Those will take no more than a minute or two. Who here is showing somebody this weekend that already owns Cutco? All right, some of you, cool. All right, those of you not raising your hands, you'll probably run into one on accident, right? So instead of going through the normal demo, you're going to click up here where it says Cutco owners. It is the exact same demo. Everything's the same. It's just tailored to Cutco owners, right? So you go through all of this like normal, go through all the individual names and uses. Christina, let me know if I'm coming through choppy at all, please. But the biggest difference is that after you go over the summary, why people choose to invest in Cutco and the comparison to our competitors, instead of just going straight to like, hey, this is the Homemaker Plus 8. If they already own multiple knives or they already own a set of Cutco, does it make sense for them to buy a whole new set? No. So we talked to them about our upgrade program. All right. So what a customer does is we take the value of what they already have and subtract it from the set that they're upgrading to. So if they already have $500 worth of Cutco and they want to upgrade to the Homemaker Plus 8, they only spend $919 instead of $1419 because we take that $500 off of the value of the set. Make sense so far? So what we do with the Cutco owners is we show them our 3 most popular sets: the complete, the basic, the family, and the complete set. And we say, out of those 3, which one's your favorite? They say the complete set. We show them the upgrade for the complete set. If they say no, we drop down to the family set upgrade. If they say no to that, we drop down to the basic set upgrade. The way this works is before we show them the deal for the upgrade, so again, this is the order it goes in. You show them the sets, they pick their favorite. You have them take a picture of their Cutco, forward that picture to us, the management staff, and call us for the deal. Because every upgrade special is going to be different because everybody's set is different. Does this make sense? So again, just to clarify, for Cutco owners, same demo, you just click on Cutco owners tab. The only difference is you talk about upgrades instead. Have them pick their favorite set, have them take a picture of all the Cutco they own, forward that to manager, call us for the upgrade special. If they say no to the 3 upgrades, we drop down to the pick 5, the buy 3, get 1 free, the buy 2, or buying a single knife, and then you go over gifts and accessories like normal. Does this make sense? Does everybody got it? Okay, questions, comments, concerns regarding closing, dropping down, piece specials, gifts, accessories, Cutco owners. Questions? Going once. You can unmute if you have a question. Going twice. Sold. If you guys have questions, you can stay on to the end of training. But Christine, I'm gonna throw it over to you for the next thing.
Awesome. Everybody click that link. So we're going to get your rep portal set up on Vector Connect. So if you click that link, there's going to be a pop-up on your screen. Let me show you. It's going to look like this. Okay, what I want you guys to do is click Create Username. And I want you guys to click Create Username so that you guys can make your rep portals, make your profile here. Then all you're going to do is you're going to put in your email, you're going to put in your phone number, you're going to put in your username, you're going to make a username, and make a password. Then you're going to click Submit. Once you click Submit, it's going to email you a verification code. You're going to input that verification code, and then you're just going to follow the steps. There's a couple of different things that will pop up, like do you want to connect your social medias? Doesn't really matter if you do or don't, just do one or the other, okay? The two most important things that will pop up, though, are going to be direct deposit. Hey, do you want to set up your direct deposit? Yes. If you have your direct deposit info, then click yes. Put in that info, routing number, and account number. If you don't have this info, click no to skip it, and then you can set it up later. Number 2 that's going to pop up is, do you want your taxes to be sent to you electronically? Yes, you do want them to be sent to you electronically. Those are the 2 biggest things that are going to pop up. Everything else is pretty basic, like, hey, what school did you go to? You know, you want to set this up, you want to connect this, blah, blah, blah. So just follow the steps. I'll give you guys about 10 minutes to go and work on this. Once you have this all filled out and you're done, you're going to be taken to this main page right here. And you're going to be taken to this main page right here. Once you hit this main page, I want you guys to put main page in the chat box. Okay, so once you hit this main page, please put main page in the chat box. Cool. So like I said, I'll give you guys about 10 minutes to go and work on this. So this is Vector Connect. As you guys can see right here, if you want to be top 10 in the nation, this is where it's usually going to pop up. You can see how much you've sold for the week, the month, the campaign, the year. You can see how close you are to your next promotion, how much you have sold so far in career sales. Okay, a couple other things on here. If you did not set up direct deposit, you can click My Account and then direct deposit if you need to set it up or change it, anything like that. You can also see your commission statements here, financial, that's where you'll find taxes, and then library. Remember when I showed you guys the national sales report? This is where you would find that, under document library, okay? You can also see things under video, audio, if you want to listen to audios on how to sell more, get more introductions, a whole bunch of stuff is already here. But the biggest thing that we're going to focus on is how to place an order. So we're going to click Cutco orders. Now, just by a show of hands, so I know, who here prefers apps over websites? Couple of you? Okay, so if you prefer apps over websites, go ahead and pull out your cell phone. And I want you to look up in your app store, Cutco orders. And I want you to get that downloaded. Okay, so I want you to look up in the app store, Cutco orders, get that downloaded. Now, the web version and the app version are pretty much identical, okay? So I'm going to show you on the web version. You'll already know how to use it on the app, okay? So what you do is you click Cutco orders, and then you click Enter orders. Once you do this, while it's loading, okay, once you do this, you're going to have to log in again. Your login is the same info that you just made for Vector Connect. So the same username and password that you just made, you'll use that for Cutco orders. Now, heads up, pay attention real quick because I want to make sure you guys understand. You remember when I told you guys not to put the email into the Vector Impact app because it would send them to a different demo? This is the different demo that I was talking about. You see right here where it says practice or create a same day demo. This is that different demo. We don't want to use any of this stuff. Don't worry about any of this. All you need is the 3 lines and then shop. Okay, so 3 lines and then shop. Okay. So let's write up an order. I know Tommy kind of showed you a little bit, so I'm going to not go quick, but a little brisk on this. If I go too fast or you had questions, who could you call? Manager. Yes, okay. Reach out to your manager. Let us know. So let's say I'm processing a homemaker set with my Uncle Sam here. Okay, I'm like, okay, cool. Uncle Sam, he wants a homemaker set. Real quick, Sam, could you unmute? Did you want the classic, pearl, or red?
All right, classic.
Classic. It's a classic man. There we go. Boom. And then did you want that in honey or cherry?
Cherry.
Cherry. Cherry's the best. Look at it. It's a spicy set. So now he knows what it looks like. Okay. If he wanted the set with no table knives, then boom, it'd be the set with no table knives. If for some reason he wanted the set in a tray, he could do that as well. But of course, he knows what the best set is. It's the one with the table knives, cherry block. So that's what he's going to get. So we're going to go ahead and click add to cart. Couple of things I want you guys to notice is the numbers at the top. So right here, value $16.47, customer pays $14.19, and CPO $12.83. The value is how much this set costs if we were to piece it out all individually. So all the pieces, the block, the cutting board, this is how much the set would cost. But since it has a 10% or roughly 10% built-in discount onto it, that's why it's a little bit on the cheaper side, $14.19. Make sense? Perfect. Last thing, this is the most important number for you guys. Pay attention. This is the most important number for you guys is CPO. CPO stands for commission paid on. CPO stands for commission paid on. All right, so this is where your commission comes from. Now, you may be looking at this and you're like, why is the CPO lower than everything else? Okay, and it's because the CPO is literally just the commissions from the product. What the customer pays includes things like shipping, postage, and insurance. We obviously can't get commissions from shipping, postage, and insurance. All right, so that's why the CPO is a little bit lower. Now, I'm going to give my Uncle Sam something for free because, of course, I give him something for free. That's what we said. So you see this button right here that says Order Advisor? Everybody sees it? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then I'm just going to type in what he wants for free. This can be the kitchen tools, the entertainer pack, or the super shears. Uncle Sam, did you want kitchen tools, entertainer pack, or super shears?
Entertainer pack.
Entertainer pack. Okay. So then I would type entertainer pack. Same thing, if he wanted kitchen tools, I could do that. Shears, I could do that. Okay, now I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. It's not a huge secret, but it is a secret. Okay, if you call your manager, they will actually help you save a little bit of CPO when it comes to giving stuff away for free. When it comes to the entertainer pack, so call your manager and they'll teach you the trick. If you don't call us, well, you won't learn the trick. Isn't that fun? Okay, so entertainer pack, I'm going to go ahead and add this to cart. Now, notice it says 180 points, and also notice my CPO has now gone down. Okay, and it's because it cost me 180 points in order to give this away for free. Because it does have to come from somewhere. So some of you may be looking at this now like, ooh, cost me CPO to give stuff away for free? I'm not going to give anything away for free. Okay, and that's a terrible way to think, you monsters. What are you guys doing? Okay, because one, well, you're seeing mom, dad, aunts, grandmas, uncles, and your family. I think they deserve some free stuff. I don't know about you, but give them free stuff. Okay, but also, this is the biggest one, is that giving stuff away for free actually helps you close on bigger orders. Okay? Easy example. So let's say I'm a terrible niece and I don't want to give my Uncle Sam anything for free because I'm just awful. Okay? So I tell him, hey, I can't give you anything for free. Remember this number, 1103. Okay? I can't give you anything for free. So then he's looking at the homemaker and he's like, if I'm not going to get anything for free, I don't know if I want to get the homemaker. So he decides not to get the homemaker, and we drop down. We drop down to the galley set. Okay? So he decides to get the galley set. I'm giving him nothing for free. And if you see, it's only 931 CPO. Okay? So I lose, what, 170, almost 200 CPO because I don't want to give the entertainer pack away for free? Okay? So, you see how it loses your points, give stuff away for free, it's going to help you in the long run, okay? Don't give away the whole entire farm, but, you know, give stuff away for free, okay? Helps you close on bigger deals. And so I'm going to show you how you can tell if you're in, like, the good range when it comes to giving stuff away for free. Almost all of the deals that we already have built into your manual, great. When you get a manager deal, sometimes we do go a little bit higher, and it's just so we can help you guys close on the deal, all right? To me, some CPO is better than no CPO, okay? So even if it gets you a little bit in the orange or the red, that's okay, because you're still making a sale, okay? So let's go ahead and process this homemaker again. Boom, add to cart. And if I had ever like messed up colors or anything, like maybe he actually wanted it in red, he changed his mind. All I have to do is just click on it and I can change the color. Okay, and then click update. Cool. I'm going to go to order advisor once again. Like I said, there's a trick to save you some points, like 15 points, if you call us. So make sure to call us. Okay, I'm going to click add to cart. Something I want you to notice is you see this thumbs up right here? If you click that, you can actually see it's like your health indicator on how much you're giving away for free. Typically, we want to stay in the green or the orange, but sometimes you do end up in the red. It's not a big deal, just shouldn't be a common thing. Cool? Perfect. And then from there, we're just going to click checkout. And from here, honestly, it's pretty straightforward. It's like an Amazon order, okay? The biggest difference, and you're just saying what kind of customer it is. If they've never bought Kutka before, new customer. If they bought Kutka before, it's a reorder. So, new customer, marketing method is none, and then we're just going to put in their info. Now, Sam, I don't know all of your info by heart, so I'm just going to put in my wife's. I think it'd be weirder if I did know all of your info by heart. Well, yeah, now I got it. Okay, he lives with this address. Now you know where I live. Congratulations. Woo. Now, I do want to show you guys something. This age just reminded me. So let's say I misspell something on accident. This is going to actually automatically fix it for us, and you'll see how. And then you'd put in their email. I'm just tired of typing. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. Now, notice it's going to ask me like, hey, you spelled this wrong. Are you sure you didn't mean this one? I'll be like, oh, you're right. I did mean this one. So it's pretty smart. It'll help you guys always make sure you have everything the right way. Next, you see this PayPal button, okay? PayPal is not going to be available for you guys, okay? It's only going to be available for FSMs or higher up reps, so you will not have this on yours. You'll have credit, paper check, and ACH. Now, do you see the paper check money order option? Everybody see this one? Yes, we're looking at it. Yes? Okay. I want you to pay real close attention to this, and I want you to pretend like it doesn't exist. Perfect. Thank you. It's not there. It doesn't even exist, okay? The reason, Abby's like, why? It's right there, Christina. It does not exist, okay? And the reason is because paper checks are absolutely terrible. 1, the customer can only pay in full. There is no payment, okay? 2 is how a paper check works, is that let's say, Abby, your customer wants to pay in a paper check. If you're lucky and they live in Vegas, cool, you can just drive to their house and pick up this check, okay? If you're not lucky, then they have to mail you the check. So then you have to get this check. And then you have to drive it to Tommy, and you have to bring this check to him. Now, Tommy has to take this check, and he has to ship it to the factory in New York. And your order has not processed, and you will not get paid until the company has physically received this check. Does that sound like fun? No. Sounds terrible, okay? Don't take paper checks. They're absolutely awful, and if you give me a paper check, I will like you a little bit less. I know. Just a little bit, not a lot. But I will be very upset that you're going to make me mail a check. So if your customer does want to pay in a check, I don't think I've had like one customer in my entire career that's paid me in a check. Okay? It's not a very common thing. Okay, but if they are really adamant about it, you can also bring up ACH, okay, which is basically an e-check. Okay, that's it. And then they can still pay in payments, and it's basically the same thing of paying with a check. But 90% of your customers will pay in credit or debit card, okay? 99.9% of your customers are taxable. If they were tax exempt, they would know. You don't have to ask them. 1 payment, 2 payment, 3 payment, or 5 payments. Now, only thing I want you to notice is these admin fees, okay? I'm sure Tommy explained this. I'm just going to explain it one more time. Is that it cost us money to go into somebody's bank account multiple times. Think of it kind of like a convenience fee. It's a little different than that, but that's roughly what it is it costs us like $2-3, I believe it is, for us to go into somebody's account multiple times to take money out. So this is a one-time fee to cover this charge. So this is $12 for all 5 months. It's not $12 each month. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, if I'm selling to my Uncle Sam and he's already spending $1,400, I doubt he's gonna be like, ooh, Christina, that $12 puts me over. I don't know if I can do it. Okay. No. And also, that's already included in the price that we quoted. Okay. So it actually is not adding anything at all because we already quoted it with that price. Cool. Most people don't ask, but if they do, that's what it is. Costs us money to go in their account multiple times. This is a one-time fee to cover that. Then we click next. We just confirm everything is accurate. Okay. This is what it will be with tax. This is what the payments will be with tax. And then we add in their credit card info or whatever, how they're paying. Customer's not present, so that's when I click the button. If they were present, then they would sign. And then I click all the buttons and I click place order. We're done. Okay, there'll be one more thing right after this, and this is just to send them a confirmation email. Thank you for placing an order with me. And all you have to do is just select one of the templates. You'll click template selection, pick a drop down, new order, repeat customer number 2, and I think there's one other option on there. That's it. Okay, and it fills in all the blanks. And then boom, you're done. You did it. Questions, comments, concerns, snide remarks, emotional outbursts for placing an order. Makes sense? Pretty simple, straightforward. Awesome. Last thing that I get to talk about before we wrap up is how to get introductions. Okay? So, so let's get into introductions. Just as a refresher, as I told you guys at the beginning of your demo, okay? At the beginning of your demo, you're going to have your customer download this app. It's called the My Cutco Rep app. You remember when I told you guys that if you make something weird, it's now weird? This is the same thing with this, okay? If I'm sitting here with my Aunt Abby and I'm like, yeah, could you, like, download this app? My manager said that I have to do it. Like, now it's weird. They're like, what the heck is going on? The app's in the App Store. It's pretty easy to download. When you're confident, they're confident. Yeah, so the company created this very simple app called My Cutco Rep, which is only available and used by Cutco customers like yourself. This app allows me to get some very simple feedback from you on me on my presentation, and also eliminates all the paperwork to make everything easier and faster. To get started, I'll need you to download the app real quick, and then I'll send you the rep number and our meeting number to enter so we can make the appointment official. Has everybody put their demos into the app? Yes? Okay, perfect. If you put your demos into the Vector Impact app, all you have to do is click that demo, and when you click the customer contact, scroll a little bit, and you'll see meeting ID, okay, and then you should know your rep number, but if you don't, it's under your profile. Okay, and so then you could just give your customer the meeting ID for each individual demo. Make sense? Perfect. And then you'll just continue to follow this along. They're going to answer 2 questions. I'm going to show you what the customer app looks like. That's the last video that I'm going to play from the tutorial video. So I'll show you what the customer app looks like. They'll answer 2 videos. One is going to be, hey, did Jelena show up on time for this interview? Okay, be like, yes, she did. Okay, and was Jelena courteous and professional when setting this appointment? Yes, she was. Okay, those are the 2 questions that they're going to ask before the demo starts. Once they answer those 2 questions, they're going to put their phone down because the last questions are going to ask about feedback and about your product knowledge. Pretty hard to do that if you haven't done the demo yet. Okay, so we have them downloaded at the beginning, answer those 2 questions, put their phone to the side, and then they listen to you. Now that they've done that, then you're going to get into intros, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys the kind of like do's and don'ts of introductions, all right? I give the talk on introductions every Tuesday for our workshops, and I also give this talk, okay, at different events and meetings. Our division meeting, I'm helping at one of the tables for SC2 on introductions. So I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just telling you guys that I'm going to give you all the tips you need to be successful with introductions. Okay? Because this is actually a very simple part of the job. The biggest issue is that people just don't follow programs very well. And I can always tell when this happens too. I had somebody even recently on the team who was struggling. He was like, oh, people don't want to download the app. And he's like, because once we get to the end of the demo, they just want to hop off. And I was like, you don't have them downloaded at the beginning? And he was like, no. And I'm like, follow the script. Because it literally says download it at the beginning, okay? And so those are very simple things that people just kind of like slip the cracks on. And of course, then you're not going to get the results that you want. Like I said, if you want to make a cake, follow the recipe, okay? If you don't follow the recipe, you're not going to get a cake. Okay? If you want the results you want, follow the program and the process as we taught you. So here are 2 reasons why somebody would not get introductions. There are only 2 reasons why someone would not get introductions, okay? The number 1 reason why someone would not get any introductions is they didn't ask, which sounds ridiculous. I know. Sam's like, why would you do that? Okay? It happens. Okay? Couple of different reasons. 1, people get really excited when they make their first sale and they forget. Number 2, they're really nervous and they forget. Number 3, they just didn't ask. Sometimes it happens. Okay? But number 1 reason why someone would not get introductions is they just didn't ask for introductions. okay? Make sure that you ask, okay? It's the most, I want you to write this down. Introductions is the most important part of my demonstration. Introductions is the most important part of my demonstration. Because I don't care how great you are at sales. If you don't have introductions, you can't keep going. I remember talking to, I know we keep bringing up Gavin, but Gavin's a great example of everything, okay? And I remember working with Gavin, sold $10,000 in his fast start, did awesome. And so I remember asking him at the end, I'm like, hey, you must feel like real good. Like you've built a lot of momentum, you're ready to keep going. And he looked at me and he was like, honestly, Christina, he was like, I'm kind of nervous. And I was like, why? And he was like, well, I'm running out of people to call and to show. And I was like, how? that doesn't make any sense. I was like, you've done 24 appointments. Even if you're bad at getting introductions and you're only getting 3 on every single demo, that's still 70 plus people to call. Like, how are you running out of people to call? I'm not understanding. Okay? And he was like, oh, well, sometimes I would just forget to ask. He's like, I'd be so excited about the homemaker that I just leave. I was like, what? And that's my fault as a manager because I wasn't following up and making sure that he was getting introductions for 24 demos, okay? But that was a serious problem. Now, he did fine, okay? Gavin ended up selling like $60,000. He ran a branch office. He's in the Navy now, okay? He did great. He was able to go back. He got introductions. But do you think it's easier to get introductions inside the demo or after the demo? Inside the demo. Okay, of course it's easier to get them inside the demo. And so that's why I want to make sure, don't forget to ask. And here's a tip. If you want to write it down, this is, I guess, the opposite of it. The easiest way to remember to ask for introductions is just ask before you write up the order. Ask before you write up the order. The reason is because when you write up the order, the demonstration feels done. It's over. And they're like, okay, cool, this is the last part. Like when you make an Amazon purchase, when you finish up the order, it's done. Like that's it. You're like, cool, I am done with this transaction. And that's the same way your customer feels, okay? If Nana sits here and fills up the whole entire order, they're going to be like, okay, cool, bye. Thanks so much, okay? And so that's why you want to ask for introductions before you write up the order because then they still feel like the demo's going. Okay, it'll help you out a lot more, and I'll show you where it even can plug into your script. Okay, number 2 reason why someone would not get introductions. The number 2 reason why someone would not get introductions is that they didn't follow the script. They didn't follow the script. Okay? Like I said, it works. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, okay? I was literally one of the people that like proofread it and helped make sure that this was good for virtual demos. That's literally the talk that I'm going to be helping out at SC2 is getting intros on virtual demos, okay? It works. But I know I've had some representatives. I remember having someone on the team, she was struggling like a lot. She did 3 demos and had gotten 0 introductions. And I need you guys to understand how difficult it is to get 0 introductions because she did the appointment with her mom, aunt, and her grandma. And I don't know how you get 0 introductions from your mom, aunt, and grandma. 0. Like maybe 1 or 2, it's like, okay, you're not very good, but 0, it's like something's wrong. And so I was like, hey, let's figure out like where the breakdown is. Could you just do your introduction approach for me? Like exactly how you're doing it with your customers. And she was like, exactly how I'm doing it? I was like, exactly how you're doing it, just so we can really figure out, workshop, and make sure that we can get you on the right track. And she was like, cool, sounds good. And so she pauses, and she goes, Christina, do you know anybody that would want to buy my knives? Yes. That's why she was doing so great. Yes, okay? And so I literally had to mute myself because my wife started laughing in the background, and I was like, stop. I was like, we're trying to help people. What are you doing? Okay? And it's just, that's not how you get introductions. It's okay? And so, of course, she was getting 0. I was like, well, yeah, no, that's not it. I was like, hey, this is literally all I want you to do. I don't want you to memorize this. I don't even need you to have it perfectly down. I just want you to read this for the next 30 minutes before your next demonstration. And she was like, all right. She's like, well, anything's better than 0. And I was like, it is. Okay. So she practiced and did her next demonstration. She called me back and she got 10 introductions. Okay. And she was super excited, you know, but in the back of my head, I'm like, wow, it's so wild how when you follow the script, you get the results that you want. Okay. Just follow the program and the process because that's why it's there for you guys. There's no point in us spending 3 days teaching you guys how to do everything with this manual and this script for it not to work. To be like, yeah, no, this isn't the real way to do it. Like, well, what's the point of us doing 3 days of training if this isn't the way to do it? Okay? Follow the script, follow the process, because it works. All right? Like I said, biggest issue you're going to have is not what you're saying, but how you're saying it. The easiest way to get better at how you say it is say it more. That's it. Okay? So those are the 2 reasons. You didn't ask and you didn't follow the script. If you don't do those 2 things, you should get introductions every single demo. Now I'm going to teach you guys how to make sure you bare minimum get 5 to 10. That's what you want to write down. Is minimum, you should be getting 5 to 10 introductions per demonstration. 10 is the goal. 5 is absolute minimum. Like I should be averaging, it's an average, remember this. I should be averaging 5 to 10. Okay? Because some demos, Sam's going to get 20. And some demos, Sam's going to get 2. But I want the average minimum to be 5. Okay? Perfect. So, let's get into this. There we go. So as you can see, it says intros equals demos equals sales equals income. This is why I say it's the most important part of your demo, because your intros equals income. All right? And here are the 3 keys. Ask, smile, follow the script. Pretty much just what I told you guys, okay? Smile is added, and it's because, well, if you don't say things with a smile, I've already told you guys this, but you sound intimidating, okay? But when you smile, you just sound so happy and so confident. People want to listen to you versus when you don't smile and you sound like this and you don't sound as happy and confident and people are afraid of what you're saying, okay? Smile. Isn't that nice? Now, did I say you have to smile the whole 45-minute demo? No, but there are certain parts where your body language should reflect what you're saying, right? So, so this is the script. Before I dive into it, I want to show you guys what the customer is going to see, just so you're clear, you understand what the customer is going to see as well. Makes you more confident in what they're experiencing.
Welcome to the Vector Impact tutorial series. In this section, we'll cover how to get recommendations for MyCut CoRep, the app we built for our customers. To download this app, we have our customers visit the App Store on their device, whether it's the Apple App Store for iOS or the Google Play Store for Android. While your customer will get a link sent to them via text, they can also just search MyCut CoRep. The first result will take them straight to its page on the App Store. From there, they can download and open the app like they would any other. Once the app is open, the customer will see the first screen. This has a video they can watch to give them context, as well as a spot to enter in your rep number. Typing that in and selecting Find Rep, our customer is taken to the confirmation screen where they'll enter their 4-digit meeting number. This part allows the referrals your customer gives you to be tied to their name in Vector Impact. Entering that correctly and selecting Confirm Meeting, the app will then make sure that the meeting that was found is for the right person. From there, your customer will just select Continue. They'll then be presented with the survey questions. After they answer each one and select Submit Feedback, they'll be directed to your rep page. This lists out your name, phone number, and the bio that you had written in Vector Impact earlier. From here, they can call you, text you, and recommend people to you. To do this, they select the Share button, which takes them to a page that describes what we do with their data. To agree and grant access to their contacts, have them select Grant Access and then OK in the pop-up that follows. At this point, they'll see the list of contacts that are on their device, each contact having a checkbox next to their name. All your customer needs to do now is check off the people they want to recommend. If they have someone specific they want to find, they can search for that person and check them off as well. Once they select Share however many contacts and confirm in the prompt, we'll be able to view the referrals on our device in Vector Impact after refreshing. Selecting View Shared in the top right corner lets your customers review and introduce the contacts they decided to share. To introduce a contact, have them select Introduce next to that contact's name. This will take them to the introduction page where they can preview the message and take an optional selfie with you. If you created a custom message for MyCutco Rep within Vector Impact, they'll be able to see it here. When they select Create Message, the SMS app will open, ready to send the message in a three-way chat between you, your customer, and your new referral. Once they send the message, they can mark this referral as done by selecting Introduced. Have your customer repeat this process for the rest of their referrals and you'll be good to go. Thanks for watching.
Perfect. Okay, so let's get into the script. And I'm just going to go through this with you guys because this is all you're doing with your customers. It's just walking them through this. So, Aunt Abby, how did you like my demo? Perfect. Great. So go ahead and pull out your cell phone, open up the app I had you download at the beginning of our meeting, and I'll have you answer that third question about my product knowledge for me, please. And feel free to answer honestly because I want to get real feedback so I can keep improving. Now, then you'll just pause, wait for them to finish, let them answer the questions. Okay, they'll be like, okay, cool, I'm done. Perfect. Now go ahead, click the share button at the bottom for me, please. And there's one more very important part. Here's where you can really help me out. As you know, I get paid every time I show Cutco, but I can only call people, I can only show it to people I've been personally introduced to. So what I'd love for you to do is jot down the first 100 names that come to mind. Nah, just kidding. Just 10 to 15 people who might be nice enough to help me out. The app is designed to be a huge time saver for both of us on this part. Now, the reason we do this, okay, please make sure you say this as a joke. Please make sure that you pause, okay, because sometimes I'll listen to reps and they do this. So what I'd love for you to do is jot down the first 100 names that come to mind. I'm just kidding. Just 10 to 15 who might be nice enough to help me out. And they just read like straight through. Okay, so there's no pause, it's not a joke, doesn't feel like anything, it's just like, okay. But why we want to say this is because we want their expectation to be here, okay? Hey, Nana, go ahead and give me 100 introductions. She'll look at me like, kind of a lot, okay? But when I say, nah, just kidding, just like 10 to 15 who might be nice enough to help me out, just like, okay, I can do that. That one's not that bad, all right? So I'm not looking for people who would buy, just nice people like you who are willing to take a look. What most people like to do is send their friends a text heads up that is similar to what I'm going to send you. I never want anyone to be surprised at you or me when I reach out. So I will wait a few days to call so your friends have time to get back to you. And if anyone responds saying that they don't want to talk to the Knife Kid, just let me know and I'll delete their number. We also have this awesome program called the Automatic Sponsorship. Now, the way the Automatic Sponsorship works is for every 50 sponsors I get, the company gives me free Cutco that I can use to add samples to my presentation. I can also use it for promotions or gifts, and it's a really cool way that the company gives back to its representatives. Now, the way you become a sponsor, just like my aunt did, is that you just have to get to the first level of 10 introductions, and if you get to 20, you become a double sponsor, and you count twice. 30, you count 3 times, and so on. And if you get past, the office record right now is 76. If you get past 76, you beat my record, and you become my new best friend. Until you guys have your own record, just use the office record. So you've got the app open, right? Okay, so what I'll have you do is select the people you want to send over to me, and the app will give us an opportunity to send a 3-way text heads up to give them a heads up. It's much easier to do this while we're on Zoom together in case you have any questions for me, and it'll only take us 3 to 5 minutes. So let's start in the A's and who jumps out first. And then you just let them go through, select everyone that they want to select, okay? And when they're like, okay, boom, I'm done. Okay, great. Thanks, Aunt Abby. Before you click the share button, can you tell me how many it says you selected in the blue box? Okay, just so I know what they're at. Because if my Aunt Abby says 7, I'm going to ask for 3 more. Not in a rude way. I'm not going to be like, oh, what are you doing? Could have gave me 10. I'm just be like, oh my God, thanks so much, Aunt Abby. I really appreciate these 7. You're actually only 3 away from the first sponsorship level. Is there any way you could just give me 3 more? I always want to ask again, because worst case scenario, she says, no, that's all I can think of. And I'll be like, cool, I have 7. Best case scenario, I have 10. Okay? So you thank them, you ask again, and then you qualify the recs. And then if for some reason you can't send the heads up text in the app, like the 3-way that he showed, there's also a text right here you guys can copy and paste to send outside the app. Okay, and then there's hints on getting more introductions, thought joggers, who do you know, a half sponsor or a mini sponsor is 5 introductions, and then handling concerns, just like you did with the sales side, handling concerns on the introduction side. You know, I don't want to download the app, it's going to take up space, I'll send them to you later, I don't know that many people, okay, all of that's right here. And then for advanced training, we'll teach you guys the Facebook approach. Cool? Questions, comments, concerns, snide remarks, emotional outbursts on intros? No? Pretty straightforward. If you did need help, who would you call? Your manager. Yeah. You guys are great. So I'm going to go ahead and have Tommy wrap up with some communication guidelines.
All right, so we're gonna go over by about 5 minutes. So I appreciate your guys' patience in advance. All right, so for your notes, this is the communication guidelines. This is the most important part of your job relating to the management staff. This is how we verify that you're working, okay? Now there's multiple ways that we verify every single one of your appointments, okay? I'll talk about that here in a minute. But the reason we have multiple ways where we can verify the appointments has nothing to do with you guys, but has everything to do with the fact that reps have been dishonest with us in the past about how many appointments that they've actually done. I'm not saying anybody here is going to lie about how many appointments they've done, but because other people have ruined it for you, we have these guidelines, okay? So first of all, remember the customer is going to fill out the questions in the app. That's one way that we verify the demo. The second way is you're going to send the customer a Google form to fill out after every appointment. Takes them 2 minutes. It's basically a questionnaire, right? Like a survey. The last way is these communication guidelines I'm going to talk about. Okay. And this is the most important part. Because if you forget the other two, usually we can verify this third one. So there's three things for the communication guidelines I want to talk about. 3 big things. The first one is call before your first appointment of the day to check in for the day. Again, make sure you're taking notes of this. Call before your first appointment of the day to check in. And this is just to let us know what you got going on, right? Abby, you have 3 appointments on the day. Let us know you got 3 appointments on the day, right? Jelena, you got 1 appointment of the day and you're hanging out with the family the rest of the day. Cool. Just let us know what's going down. All right. So again, call before your first appointment to check in. The second part of this is call after every appointment, no matter what. Whether or not you make a sale, no excuses. I don't care if you're late to your next appointment, you're still going to call to check out after your appointment. Your customers won't mind if you're an extra 2 minutes late if you're already late, right? It's not going to be that big of a difference maker. That being said, this is for a couple reasons, right? One is we debrief after every appointment, right? So now if you have questions or like you messed something up or you're like, hey, I felt like I could have done this better, we can debrief and help you to improve immediately for your next appointment, right? But also allows us to help you reset your mindset. Of course, like Sam, when you make a sale in your first appointment, of course, you're going to want to what? You're going to call Christina and be like, yo, close the homemaker. Woo! Let's go, right? You're going to be pumped up, of course, right? And so naturally, you're going to want to call in that scenario. But let's say you get a no sale on your first appointment. How are you going to be feeling? Probably not so great, right? And that is just as important for you to call us in that moment as well. Because if you call us and say you got a no sale, do you think we're going to berate you or talk smack about you and say you suck? Absolutely not. Can you imagine? That would be ridiculous. All right. Of course, we're not going to do that. Okay. The whole goal of you calling us is to help you reset your mindset. If you get a no sale, we're just going to debrief. Hey, what happened? What do you feel like led to the no sale? Okay, great. Do you mind if I give you some coaching? We're going to give you some feedback and just give you one thing to implement under your next appointment to be better. And you just keep improving that way. All right. But if you don't call us, then you won't consistently be improving. That's the whole point of this. So again, first guideline, call before your first appointment of the day, just before the first one. And then you call after every appointment, whether or not you make a sale, no excuses, right? The third guideline is the double tap rule. We call this the double tap rule because it means you call us how many times do you think? It means you call us twice, right? So for a check-in or a checkout, so before or after the demo, you only call us one time. If we don't answer, you can just leave us a voice memo on WhatsApp or a voicemail, whatever it is, right? But if you're in the middle of an appointment, that's where the double tap rule comes into play. If we don't answer the first time, Jelena, immediately call back a second time. Because that's the international bat signal of I'm on an appointment, the customer's interested in something, the customer has a question that I don't know how to answer, and I need help. So let's say Abby's customer is like, hey, I read online that stamped steel isn't as good as forged steel, and I read that you guys use stamped steel. So what is the difference between that? What heat treating processes do you guys do to accommodate for that? And Abby's looking at me like, Tommy, I have no freaking idea what you're talking about. But you know who does know about that stuff? Your managers. We know all the random things. So that being said, get us on the phone in those scenarios. That's a double tap, right? If the customer likes the homemaker, but they're a little bit on the edge, like they really like the set, but price is the only issue, what do? That's a double tap, right? When you get to the starter sets, and let's say they really like the set, but there's just one knife that they want to swap out, what do? You double tap who? You double tap your manager, right? When you get down to the pick 5 special, what do you do there? You double tap your manager, right? And I guarantee you, you're going to be blowing up on our phones on your first few appointments. But I'd rather put in the extra time now and give you that coaching rather than you not getting the coaching, right? I'd rather put in the extra time now to help you guys to improve and get better, because then we won't have to do it later, right? Christina, Yasmin's about to call you. Does anybody already feel like, just based on what I said, does anybody feel like they're going to be calling me too much? Does anybody feel like they're like, Tommy, I might feel like I've called you too many times at some point? All right. I'm glad I don't see any hands up. That's good. Right. But there might come a time where like Abby's like, hey, Tommy, I don't want to bother you. Right. Does anybody like feel like they come in that scenario like, hey, I feel like I'm bothering my manager a little bit? If you're not, that's good. Right. But if you do feel that way, I want to mention a story about a girl named Dina Roy on my team. Dina Roy was a student. She worked with us pretty part-time when she started. She was working another job and stuff, but she did 8 appointments her first 3 days. Her first appointment was with her uncle and her aunt. She called me for the pick 5 special and the homemaker set, but then didn't call me again until after the appointment. So didn't call me again until after the appointment. And when she called me, she was like, yeah, they were really interested in the buy 3, get 1 free special, but I couldn't figure out how to do the pricing in the cart like you had showed me. And so my uncle just said to call him back later and give him the deal then. Do you think she ended up getting that sale? No. And I asked, like, why didn't you just what? Why didn't you just call me back? She's like, I felt like I was bothering you. And I told her the same thing I told you guys. Like, if you need to call me 50 times on an appointment, call me 51 times, because I'd rather give you the help now than not. And Dina blew up my phone for her next 7 appointments. I kid you not, I had double-digit missed calls from her on every single one. But she also went 7 for 7 and sold over $2,400 her first 3 days. She made $250 plus in income working part-time in her first 3 days. Would you guys agree that she was pretty excited about that? Heck yeah. And the consistent theme there is she called her manager, right? So that's all. Just blow up my phone. Last thing before we let you guys, we go over just some things to focus on this weekend is events, right? Advanced training 1, Mondays 5 to 7. All right. The time was changed a little bit, so put that in your calendar. It's Monday 5 to 7 p.m. All right. Team meeting right now is every Wednesday 5 to 7. It will be adjusting here in a couple weeks. Right now it's Wednesday 5 to 7. Team meeting is every week, so you should have that as a recurring event in your calendar. Advanced training, you're only going to do once, right? So when it comes to events, just like any other job, what do we expect? Like, we expect you to be there, right? If for whatever reason you have something come up and you're unable to make it, who should you immediately tell? Tell us, right? We're going to be more than understanding. We're really, really flexible, but I can't be understanding or flexible if you tell me the day of or 5 minutes before. Does that make sense? So again, as soon as you know, who else should know? Manager, right? Manager should know. And that's it. So again, the guidelines: call before your first appointment of the day, call after every appointment, double tap during the appointment. Do not text. If you text us, we assume it's not time sensitive. So you might not get a response, but if you need to update us on something, that's a good way to do it. But again, don't expect Christina or I to respond in a timely fashion. All right. But that being said, Christina, I'll throw it over to you for some final focuses and let you guys out of here.
Woo-hoo, you did it! Graduation day! Okay.
Woo!
So last couple of assignments, okay? Nothing crazy, but biggest things, number 1, okay, is go get your first sale, okay? Go get you guys' first sale, because once you get, as some managers like to say, the monkey off your back, it'll give you a lot more confidence. But really what I think it is that once you experience your first sale, that's what's really going to give you that confidence, just like how I felt on my second demo where I was like, I did it, okay? I feel good. I can do this. And it'll give you that confidence. So go get your first sale. Whether it's a ultimate set or a cutting board, go get your first sale, okay? Second thing, keep making demos, okay? You guys probably haven't hit your goal. You probably haven't hit every single demo you want to fill up, okay? So continue to make some phone calls, set some time aside for either tomorrow or Sunday, so you guys can continue to hit that goal. Talk to your manager as much as possible. You cannot talk to your manager too much, okay? Easy example is Yasmin on Tommy's team. Sold like what, $2,500, $2,000 her first weekend, okay? And it's because she called all the time, non-stop, whether it was me or Tommy. She was making sure that she was going to get help so she could close those sales, okay? Both demos that she's called me for while Tommy was talking, we've helped her close, even if they're small or big, all right? Call us as much as you can. Cool. And then make sure, the last one, make sure your customers fill out that final form. You're going to get put into a WhatsApp training chat that has everything that you need. It'll be a big block of text, has every single link that you guys are going to need to do the job, and just make sure they fill out that final form. Tommy, I'm sure already went through this, but just going to make sure it's clear, okay, is if you are an NLV, okay, you are going to use the NLV verify demo form, all right? So that's going to be Sam and Nana. And if you are Abby or Jelena, you are using the Henderson verify demo form. Make sense? Perfect. Last thing I'm going to show you guys just really quick where these are. I think I showed it to you already, but I'm just going to show one more time to make sure you guys know where this stuff is. If for some reason, for those of you who are using Google Meet, okay, you're a little lost on how to do stuff, just click right here, quick demo tips. 8 steps to the demo flow. And number 2 has a video on how to create a Google account, a Google Meet, and how to screen share. Okay, because when you're using Google Calendar, there it is. Okay, this is where you can easily put in your demos. All right, I can click more options, and then this is how I can add Google Meet video conferencing. And so I can easily email, I just add guests, I can easily email my customer, let them know, and all the stuff you're going to need, like was just where I showed you, and it's also under phoning. Okay, right here, confirmation email to send to your customer so you can send them a link for your demo. Make sense? Perfect. And if you were still confused, who could you call? Your manager. Woo! Isn't that great? Cool. Final questions, comments, concerns, sign remarks. You guys can hang back. If you don't have any, Tommy, any final words?
Yeah, really quick. Who has appointments tonight after training? Great. You guys just checked in. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. When you get added to the training chat, you're going to see a big brick of text. It's going to have every single link that you could possibly need for the job in order of how to open them, as well as the verification links and all of it. So make sure you look for that big brick of text in the training chat we're going to add to you too on WhatsApp. All right. But that's it. If you have questions, stay back. If not, you're good to go. Welcome to the team. Next time we'll see you face to face will be Monday at advanced training. Bye.